running for president in 2020, so we should play some of his greatest hits.
Barack and I finally reduced the disparity in sentencing, which we've been fighting to eliminate. Crack cocaine versus powder cocaine. Correct. It was a big mistake when it was made. We thought we were told by the experts that crack, you never go back.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent.
If you want to protect yourself, get a double-barrel shotgun. If there's ever a problem, just walk out on the balcony, put that double-barrel shotgun, and fire 2 blasts.
They're going to put you all back in chains. Give me a break. That's a bunch of malarkey.
The 3-letter word, jobs. J-O-B-S, jobs.
One man stands ready to deliver change we desperately need. A man I'm proud to call my friend. A man who will be the next president of the United States, Barack America.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
And now, another minute of Madam Speaker, Nancy Pelosi.
Again, you have these wings, AOC and her group on one side.
It's like 5 people. They would say, play games, and then they'd say, open sesame, except we don't say sesame, we say open Biden. But no, I because we are not. We have the number is growing. We have 91 women. There are 115 women in Congress, 116. 15 are Republican, 91 are Democrats. I happen to be a manifestation of the women power that is coming forth now, but only one manifestation. It was like getting kicked in the back by a mule constantly. It was physical. It was so unbelievable. The Times found Lincoln. Not to be presumptuous to put ourselves in those categories, but the Times have found us.
John, what happened at Perfect Smiles when you went?
The initial consultation was easy. In the past, they just hand me a clipboard to fill out the forms, but that's not how I worked at Perfect Smiles. What was nice was it was a true consultation. They asked me my medical history for what I wanted to get out of the treatment plan. For me, I lived with TMJ. I'd literally have to crack my jaw throughout the day to relieve the pressure. I'd get headaches throughout the day. I'd be in pain. When I was at Perfect Smiles, they asked me what I wanted to get out of the treatment. As a joke, I just said, geez, I'd love you to be able to fix my TMJ. And I was surprised because Dr. Houghton specializes in working with patients like me that have TMJ.
What were the results of visiting Dr. Houghton at Perfect Smiles?
Not only did I walk out of that office with a perfect smile, but he fixed my TMJ. It was a life-changing event. People tell me now that my smile's amazing. People would say, geez, John, your teeth look so great. I never realized my teeth looked so bad before. Now I take a look at the before and after pictures and I'm amazed.
Go to Perfect Smiles in Nashua, New Hampshire, or visit their website, perfectsmiles.com.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
Who do you consider the biggest rhino in the Republican Party?
Probably is Paul Ryan. I wish a Republican were still the speaker, but Paul Ryan was scarcely a Republican. And there was a reason he was Mitt Romney's running.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
From the beginning of time, nations and people have faced unforeseen challenges, including large-scale and very dangerous health threats. This is the way it always was and always will be. The vast majority of Americans, the risk is very, very low.
The guy's an actor. He's reading a script. When they tell you not to panic, that's when you run!
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
The NCAA announced that its upcoming championship events will take place without fans.
And tonight, the NBA suspending its season following the games tonight as a player tests positive.
This is crazy. This can't be true. I mean, it's not within the realm of possibilities. It seems more like out of a movie than reality.
You could be more right than you know.
Houston, we have a problem.
Actor Tom Hanks posted on social media that he and his wife, Rita Wilson, have tested positive for the virus.
You never know what you're going to get.
Who's your captain? Howie Carr.
The president referred to the coronavirus as a, quote, foreign virus. It's going to come across to a lot of Americans as smacking of xenophobia.
Okay.
The Wuhan coronavirus, the first U.S. case of Chinese coronavirus.
The world's first lab-grown copy of the Wuhan coronavirus.
The Chinese coronavirus.
The death toll from the Wuhan coronavirus.
I can keep going.
unchained and unstoppable.
We must put politics aside, stop the partisanship, and unify together as one nation and one family.
Can I finish now?
No, you can't, John. John, he's the president. Even if someone else wrote it, it should be
I know
right.
he did, and he has to be Don.
This is CNN. Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
Everything's getting canceled. I just got a memo from the Federal District Court in Boston. All the trials and court appearances have been continued until April 27th. Today is March 12th. That's six weeks.
As if the Suffolk County DA wasn't canceling enough cases on her own.
Well, this is down the street. This is on Northern Avenue, but yeah, it's the same thing. I mean, does this mean that we're not going to have any state cops doing the perp walk until April 27th? I'm disappointed. Then they've canceled the ACC tournament, the Atlantic Coast Conference tournament, one day too late for my team, the UNC Tar Heels. They got smoked last night. The last game of the season, apparently. They lost by 28. So I guess their season was canceled anyway. Anyway, well.
Is that why you covered up your actual shirt today?
I thought that we had to cover up Matthews Brothers. I thought we had to do Matthews Brothers a certain number of days per week.
And will you also, what do you have underneath Matthews Brothers?
I have an NC shirt.
Yes.
This will be, I won't be needing the NC shirt until next November, December. All right. 844-500-4242. What did I tell you about Joe Biden disappearing? And I said they're going to try to cancel the debate. And first, yesterday they announced, well, the debate in Arizona, we're not going to have an audience. Today they've announced they're moving it to Washington, D.C. There's still, 72 hours left till the debate. I don't think there's going to be a debate. It's just going to be a discussion now, a discussion. And Joe Biden has announced that, for the sake of the health of the American people, the dozens, if not scores of people who go to his rallies, they're canceling all future rallies, and they're going to be virtual events. How predictable was this?
Can you sniff hair through the computer?
I don't know.
Skype sniff?
617 says Howie, coronavirus is a cancel culture. Everything is getting canceled. There's no doubt about that. We've got all kinds of stuff is gone. I was watching. I got tired. I couldn't watch Fox last night. I got tired of this coronavirus 24/7. So I switched over to ESPN, and they were in a state of panic because the players at some game had all run off the court right before the game was to start, and it turns out one of them tested positive for coronavirus.
Yeah, the player from the Jazz.
Gobert.
They just played the Celtics at the Garden last weekend. And I guess he was at a press conference and someone asked him about coronavirus.
Oh, and he made a joke.
And as a joke, he touched all of the microphones and stuff with his hands. Did not age well, as someone pointed out on Twitter.
So, but Joe was out there today. Joe was making one of his swan song appearances here, and he's got a lot to say. Let's start with cut 49. This is just about an hour ago.
The Department of Defense should be planning now, should have been planning to prepare for the potential deployment of the resources provided, medical facility capacity and logistic support that only they can do.
What?
The Department of Defense. How about the Department of Walls?
Is that the wall building department? Exactly.
The Department of Defense. And he's reading. He's got a teleprompter.
The Department of Defense should be planning now, should have been planning.
Okay, and then this next one. This is one of those sentences. They're coming increasingly more often. where it's really hard to even transcribe them to put in a column or online. You just have to listen to them and make your own interpretation. It's kind of like listening to the Delphic Oracle.
So it's inconvenient for you, is what you're saying, because it's hard to transcribe for a column.
Right. Well, I've been through this before with the Wizard of Oz.
Yes, so have I.
Or Mumbles Menino. I mean, this is par for the course. All right. Okay. So again, if you can transcribe this and send it to us, would appreciate it. And so would everybody. Cut 50.
In a week from now, a month from now, we could need an instant 500-bed hospital to isolate and treat patients in any city in this country.
An instant hospital?
A month from now, we could need an instant 500-bed hospital.
Is that like instant potatoes or instant coffee?
Is that new
an instant hospital?
Is that new soap opera, Instant Hospital?
An instant hospital. And so they've sent out at least 1 million of these test kits. But Joe, he likes to inflate usually, a few thousand fatalities become 150 million. 60, 80 million women in the workplace becomes 720 million. But now he's devolving the math. He's subtracting rather than multiplying. Cut 48.
The administration's failure on testing is colossal, and it's a failure of planning, leadership, and execution. The White House should measure and report each and every day, how many tests have been ordered, how many tests have been completed, and how many have tested positive. By next week, the number of tests should be in the millions, not the thousands.
And they should be reporting back to the Department of Defense and the instant hospital. Just add water and the hospital springs right up. Stir, and then let stand for 5 minutes before enjoying.
Gia.
Incidentally, would you like to hear Joe Biden back in 2009 on the swine flu when he was in charge of the preparations here? This was his idea of reassuring the public.
Play 44 first.
Okay, okay. Well, first we'll play 44 where he talks about how much better he did than the president. Cut 44.
No president can promise to prevent future outbreaks, but I can promise you this: when I'm president, we will be better prepared, respond better, and recover better. We'll lead with science. We'll listen to the experts. We'll heed their advice. And we'll build American leadership.
Spring training just canceled for MLB.
To rally the world to meet global threats that we're likely to face again.
Spring training has just been canceled.
Oh, look at McKay. Oh, no. He's baseball's biggest fan. I'm sorry.
Opening day has been postponed as well.
I do feel bad for
Opening
people.
day has been postponed?
Oh.
Yeah, delays opening day over coronavirus.
Okay. Well, I guess add Major League Baseball to the poll question, Taylor, or rework it a little bit. We said spring training, just say Major League Baseball. But anyway, before we get any further, go ahead, read that.
Stephen Miller tweeted out, "Good thing Joe Biden wasn't vice president when 61 million people in the U.S. were hit with swine flu and 12,000 people died. Sure hope he's asked about this." Don't worry, Stephen Miller. He won't be asked about it.
Well, here he is trying to reassure the people 11 years ago when he was the vice president about swine flu. And again, remember, if you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs, then you will be a man, my son. That's Rudyard Kipling. Or a woman. You will be a woman, an adult. But here is Joe Biden keeping his head on swine flu 11 years ago. Cut 46.
I would tell members of my family, and I have, I wouldn't go anywhere in confined places now. It's not that it's going to Mexico. It's you're in a confined aircraft. When one person sneezes, it goes all the way through the aircraft. That's me. I would not be at this point. If I'm out in the middle of a field and someone sneezes, that's one thing. If you're in a closed aircraft, a closed container, a closed car, a closed classroom, it's a different thing.
So Mr. Vice President, should I stay off the subway, all the subways to Mexico, or just the one to like Guadalajara and Monterrey? Is it okay to get on the subway to Mexico City or Acapulco? What a dope. What a bleeping dope. And one more before we go. Cut 51.
We must, all of us, follow the guidelines of the health officials and take appropriate protections to protect ourselves and critically to protect others, especially those who are most at risk for this disease. It's going to mean making some radical changes in our personal behaviors. More frequent and more thorough hand washing, staying home from work if you're ill, but also altering the deeply ingrained habits in our country like handshakes and hugs.
It's more deeply ingrained for him than for most of us. Let's just be honest. The hugging.
Mr. Vice President, what about hair sniffing?
Shoulder rubbing.
Sneaking up behind women.
But
whispering
Howie,
in ears.
But Taylor, it's like O.J. Simpson lecturing us on marriage or something. Does he not realize how ironic it is that the guy who cannot keep his hands to himself is telling us not to hug? Don't worry about me, Joe. I don't invade people's personal space. You're the invader.
Uncle Joe Biden, you liked him in Petticoat Junction. You're going to love him in the White House. 844-500-4242. That's the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. If you're like me.
And that's Uncle Joe, he's a moving kind of slow at the junction. Petticoat Junction.
Coronavirus Junction. If you're like me and everyone else I know, you love free stuff. We get free stuff every day here at the Newsmax studio. Free coffee, free chocolate, free snacks. It's
free
great.
Chocolate.
But it's nothing compares to the free meat that you'll get when you sign up today for ButcherBox. ButcherBox is fantastic. The quality is unmatched anywhere. And you don't have to go out to the supermarket or the butcher store to get it. If you're concerned about what's been going on, you'll feel a lot safer. Just it can be delivered right to your door once a month. You order it right online. You can pick the box, whatever you want in it. There's 4 different kinds of boxes, or you can customize them yourself. Get whatever you want. And again, the quality is unprecedented in terms of safe and tasty. For a limited time now, ButcherBox is throwing in 2 pounds of delicious grass-fed, organic, free-range, hormone-free ground beef in every box for the life of your subscription when you sign up today. In addition to the ground beef, all the meat you get from ButcherBox is humanely raised, the way it's meant to be, with no added hormones or antibiotics ever. From chicken, pork, and steak to seafood like salmon and scallops, ButcherBox has more than 20 different cuts of meat to choose from. And their website is loaded with awesome recipes that the whole family will love. Sign up for ButcherBox today, and for a limited time, get free ground beef for the life of your subscription, plus $20 off your first box at butcherbox.com/Howie. That's butcherbox.com/Howie. Butcherbox.com/Howie. I'm Howie Carr.
He's the guru of craft. It's Howie Carr.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you in part by Body Rituals of Dover, New Hampshire. Body Rituals specializes in classic and alternative techniques like advanced massage, energy practices, light touch, and deep muscle therapies. Go to bodyritualswellness.com for more information.
He's the co-sponsor of the Green New Deal, so what better time to play some of his greatest hits? Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mr. Frosty.
This is going to be a mission to save all of creation.
If you want to ignore that these changes are taking place and that they're having a dramatic impact, then you are in the right place.
You know what the winters were like at Plymouth Rock? Do you know what the winters were like at Plymouth Rock, Senator?
Well, here is the thing.
You don't. How long has your family been in Massachusetts?
We are new arrivals. And, Mr. President, American history was made last night. The Boston Patriots won the Super Bowl.
When the Second Amendment was written in order to maintain a well-regulated militia, they did not have in mind that people could purchase guns indiscriminately. The president is acting like Pontius Pilate.
I'm here with Dr. Bruce Houghton from Perfect Smiles in Nashua, New Hampshire. You get a lot of patients, I'm sure, who are apprehensive about veneers. What are some of the questions and fears you get when you're dealing with new patients?
Some people think they could look too fake, but true cosmetic dentistry is incredibly detail oriented. So we put a lot of time and effort into individualizing how the smile looks, and we really make them look natural, but very, very pleasant.
People are concerned. They wonder, I got my teeth. Do I really want to put caps on?
Exactly. Yeah, they think they'll have that Hollywood look or fake look, but the technology that we have available and the artistry that we can create now really makes things so natural that most people, in fact, most dentists are just surprised that we can create what we can create nowadays. Everyone is different. Everyone has different facial dimensions, different bone structure, and we do everything we can to individualize treatment because there is no one perfect smile. It is your perfect smile.
Dr. Houghton, where can people face in my day? Here are some of the latest network nitwits.
And he says, if I'm elected president, I will push for a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on all members of Congress. Correct me, there already are term limits, so what does he mean?
And what are we hearing in the background? Is that shelling?
No, Katie, you're actually hearing that from here in Jerusalem, and it's actually fireworks going off right behind me.
We're in our tribes. We're in our corners most of our lives. I think we just heard some gunshots. Should we listen to that for a second, control room? So that's not gunshots? Okay.
Ivanka is not the second lady. She is actually, I don't think she deserves this position. She's actually a senior advisor to the president. So the idea that he would demean her specifically in that way, he shouldn't talk about the first lady that way. We aren't all here to make salads for men. It's disgusting.
I mean, I'm presuming he was talking about Karen Pence when he said second lady.
Oh, God, I'm sorry. Not Montana. I'm talking about never mind.
Yeah, no,
Ignore me.
that's Republicans could add to
I was getting Montana and North Dakota confused because, I don't know, I just was.
Yeah, give me a up to the ball question.
Hi, this is Cindy from Osterville, Massachusetts.
This is Brett Rock from Dunstable, Massachusetts.
This is Amy in Lisbon Falls, Maine, and this is the Howie Carr Show.
$844-500-4242. We had a cheap bastard deal yesterday at Boone's and on the Old Port District in Portland. Went fast in like 3 or 4 minutes. We have another cheap bastard deal today.
It's Howie Carr's cheap bastard deal.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds too good to be true.
Oh, no, it's real, and it's a steal.
You know there's plenty more when you shop at Howie's store for another Howie Carr cheap bastard deal.
Howie Carr, the cheapest bastard around.
Grace is going to handle this one today because it involves services that she's really into.
Yes, I am here for the cheap bastard deal for IPL and Skin Wellness. They're located in Timeless Salon and Spa in Dover, New Hampshire. And this is a $120 value for the gift card. Its selling price is $60. We do not have a lot of these. They will go fast, but I'm going to explain to you the 2 treatments that this covers. One of them is IPL permanent hair removal treatments. If you have not gotten, it's similar to a laser hair removal, except it's a little bit gentler. If you have never gotten laser hair removal, you are missing out. It is the best money you will ever spend. You will never need to use razors, shaving cream. That stuff adds up and it's annoying. This is a perfect thing to get. It's an investment and it's so worth it. The second thing, which I think a lot of people will be interested in, is the Skin Classics treatment. And what this does is it covers a variety of problems that people have with their face, whether it's skin tags, sunspots, broken capillaries. A lot of people I know, older people.
Can we get one for Bill Wells? All these disappointments in the Republican primaries.
Well, if he, that's not nice, but if he wants one, HowieCarrshow.com, click store. But what this does is if you have broken capillaries on your cheeks or on your nose and you don't think you can ever get rid of it, it looks like rosacea. This is what you want to use. If you look at some of the before and afters online, because I had never heard of Skin Classics, it's unbelievable for women out there who have sunspots that they need to get rid of.
Also known as age spots, right?
Age spots. If you have skin tags, a lot of people get little skin tags under their eyes and they think they need to pay a dermatologist to laser them off or freeze them off. This is what you should do. And also I want to tell people out there that if you have a wife or a sister or a friend, she's not going to want to spend money on herself, but this is something really cool you can get someone that they'll appreciate and they're definitely going to want to use.
But what you should say if you're a guy getting this for your significant other, say, I'm not getting this because I say you need it. I just heard you talking about it. You know
Right.
how you wanted to do this. So this is my treat to you.
Well, it's funny because I was talking to Dawn, and she is one of the estheticians at IPL Skin Wellness. And that's the other thing, is that the estheticians know what they're doing. They are licensed and they know how to do these things. So you don't have to worry. It's not some sketchy thing. It's all really clean and precise, and the results are amazing. And Dawn said to me, she's like, the same thing you just said, Howie. She said, all the women who get this as a gift are so thankful. No one ever says, oh, what do you mean by this? People have little things on their face that they want to get rid of, especially
but honey,
older
don't
women.
you remember telling me about this?
Yes.
Oh, that's the line you used. That's something in your own words.
And if you get a laser treatment, the great thing about this is everything takes like 15
You
minutes.
look great, baby. This will make you look even better.
It's awesome. I cannot recommend this stuff enough. It is so worth it. Not having to shave is the best thing ever. So make sure you go to howiecarrshow.com, click on store. It's good for skin classics treatment and IPL permanent hair removal. I love the word permanent. It means you never have to do it again.
So where do they go?
They go to howiecarrshow.com, click on store. We only have so many of these. They will sell out. So go now. It's a great Mother's Day gift too.
We'll be right back. HowieCarrShow.com. Click on store. Cheap bastard deal. Du jour. I'm Howie Carr. Let me tell you about a new sponsor to the Howie Carr Show. Helping Hands of America. For over 2 decades, Helping Hands has made donating your car, truck, or boat to a New England charity incredibly easy. I've donated and you should too. It takes one call. The pickup is not only fast, but it's free, and your donation is 100% tax deductible. Call Helping Hands at 888-881-9090. That's 888-881-9090. Or visit helpinghandsofamerica.org. Restrictions may apply.
Are you looking for a pre-owned car? Well, before you go to the dealership where you'll be pounced on by pushy salespeople, give the Car Guys a try. I'm Bill Papa George, and my job is to make finding the perfect used car as easy as possible. That means I do all of the tough legwork for you. Once I figure out what you want out of a car, I go find it. I've been in this business for a long time, and I know what to look out for. I won't bring you a car unless I know it will meet or exceed your expectations. So give me a call at 800-300-4600. That is 800-300-4600.
And now, 1 minute of Nancy Pelosi.
It is a bill that is much needed for our farmers and ranchers. I think there are only 47 votes against it in the House of Representatives. The American people should know the source of it. Again, we are engaged in the year-end continuing resolution, Homeland Security. I'm not sure. No, I haven't spoken to him since he called the other day, which was a very amicable conversation. Amiable, I guess you would say, not amicable. And I talked to Chuck last night to say, we haven't had an answer. There are other things that are going on that are newsworthy, and I think you'd have more viewers or readers if people address concerns that people have. The list goes on about the
Subaru of New England, Washington's birthday sales event lasts all month long. Feel the freedom in the all-new all-wheel drive 2020 Subaru Outback with standard LED headlights, starting at only $26,645 with 0.9% financing for up to 48 months, or lease for only $249 per month for 36 months with $2449 due at signing. Details at SubaruofNewEngland.com.
Bernie Sanders is officially in the race for 2020. Let's look back at some of the septuagenarian's greatest hits.
Should we give tax breaks to billionaires, which is what Trump wants, or demand that the wealthy and large corporations start paying their fair share of taxes? Blah, 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 blah.
It's funny. Sometimes American journalists talk about how bad a country is because people are lining up for food. That's a good thing. In other countries, people don't line up for food. The rich get the food and the poor starve to death.
We understand your wife has hired a lawyer to represent her in a possible probe into a land deal that fell apart. This was back when she was president of Burlington College.
No, it was not when she was. Oh, let me say a word on that.
Yeah. Well, I just want to ask you, do you know she's under FBI investigation?
Excuse me. My wife is about the most honest person I know.
At the end of the day, you don't necessarily need a choice of 23 underarm spray deodorants or 18 different pairs of sneakers.
People should not be dying in the United States of America when they are sick.
We will raise taxes.
Here's Donald Trump Jr. proving once and for all the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
They hate Trump more than they love America. For them to try to take a pandemic and seemingly hope that it comes here and kills millions of people so that they could end Donald Trump's streak of winning. I don't know if this is coronavirus or Trump derangement syndrome, but these people are infected badly. To make this guy into a religious scholar, that's like saying Jeffrey Dahmer is a purveyor of organic and fine exotic meats. Adam Schiff is basically the Jussie Smollett of Congress on steroids.
Children are off limits. Remember this one? If 13-year-old Barron Trump is not off limits, Hunter Biden sure as is not off limits.
Because my name is Trump, if I took $1.5 from China, not $1.5 billion like Hunter, their heads would explode.
Who is your favorite Democrat? Go ahead.
Mitt Romney, Gail. Mitt Romney's my favorite Democrat. How about that? Please, Lord, in my next life, make me a leftist so I can say anything and get away with it.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
Talking about erectile dysfunction isn't easy, but with Roman now it can be. With Roman, you can get a free online evaluation and ongoing care for erectile dysfunction, all from the comfort and privacy of your own home. No awkward visits to the physician or the pharmacy. Go to getroman.com/Howie to get a free online visit and free 2-day shipping. Taylor, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Which will you miss more? NHL, NBA, MLB, the NCAA conference tournaments, or I won't miss any of them?
I'm torn between won't miss any of them and the tournament.
Sounds like you're missing the tournament.
Yeah, it's okay, Howie.
But you know, my
Just because
team is
your
already
team's
out
out.
as of last night. Again, they lost by 28 points in Greensboro.
But you always follow it
It was
every
a
year.
fitting end to a rotten season. 14-19. That's their final record.
You're a participating viewer.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
okay.
will miss the tournament, the college tournament.
Taylor, what
Only-
about you?
I'm not going to miss a damn thing.
Don't care. That's what he is.
Okay, what are the results?
Grace, what about you?
I'm NHL. I like the Bruins games. I mean, I don't live for them or anything, but I know some people who do, and I think they're fun. And the guys on the NHL are so cute. Pasternak, hottie.
10% say they're going to miss the NCAA tournaments. 4% will miss the MLB. Of course, we just added that, so that's going to go up. Only 1%.
Well, they were just canceled 10 minutes ago.
Right. Only 1% are going to. Most people don't know they're going to have to miss them yet. 1% are going to miss the NBA. 17% going to miss hockey, and 68% say they won't miss a thing.
You know who's going to miss this? All the jock sniffers on sports talk radio stations.
I just tweeted that out. I said, if you think sports radio sucked already, buckle up, pal.
It's going to be a lot of where's Tom Brady going to go talk for the next couple of months.
Oh,
That's all they have.
talk about an overworked subject. Oh, and what about Mr. Kraft? He's got his next more court filings in May. But again, that's probably going to be postponed too, considering that they've kicked all the federal court cases in Boston down the road by 6 weeks.
I can tell you one thing. The spa he was going to, that's definitely going to be closed down due to this. It's a lot of too much close contact.
844-500-4242.
Yep. No hugging.
Jay from Chelsea says, when Grace mentioned the broken capillaries, I thought, what about Bill Weld? But as I was reaching for the phone, you blurted it out. You and me and 10,000 other people. Yeah, I know. 16 of whom just texted in, just like you, Jay.
A lot of people are asking about that, though. It is true, and all you have to do is go to before and after for that, and you'll see that Skin Classics treatments on broken capillaries and skin tags and sunspots, or as Howie calls them, age spots. You will not believe the results. But go to howiecarter.com, click store to get your cheap Astor deal. Half off, 50% off.
Here's one, 774. I don't know, Grace. I see this backfiring and me being in the doghouse.
Trust me, dudes out there, she's going to be fine with it. She's just going to be happy you thought of her and that she can use the gift. That's all we want, is to be able to use it.
Plus, chances are she's yapping all the time anyway. And even if she hasn't mentioned it, she's not going to be able to remember that she hasn't been mentioning it because she's been thinking about it.
Yeah.
I guarantee you she's been thinking about it.
And I can tell you another thing. We don't want any more chocolates. Most of us are trying to, stay fit. We want something that we can use.
Pinch me, I'm dreaming, says 781. I just saw gasoline in Wilmington, Mass, $2.05 a gallon. Well, that's, this is terrible what's going on. The oil price war. It's a terrible thing, isn't it? Here's another 781. For crying out loud, a small church flea market I was supposed to do in a little town outside of Boston in April was just canceled by the Board of Health. Everything's being canceled.
I don't understand the need to cancel things. What about just postponing? That's what I don't get.
Well, they're postponing the Boston Marathon because that's such big money that they're going to postpone it to September. But isn't that when they have the New York Marathon? Is that going to bump into the New York Marathon?
I don't know.
So I won't be able to get mail at my post office box in Wellesley in September rather than not being able to get it in April.
Can you tell that Taylor, Howie, and I are not the type of people who will ever be running a marathon by how little we know about them?
I run away from the marathon. I try to avoid it at all possible costs.
I think it's also because a lot of people raise money, so they have to, deliver on that promise, right?
844-500-4242. 207 said, this is a good point. I just had an epiphany. Part of the reason why Trump sounds so smart is that he doesn't use big words. The other part of why he sounds so smart is he doesn't mess up using big words like Nancy Pelosi or Joe Biden. You think defense is a big word to us? he blew defense today. Department of Defense. But you're right. You're right about that. I remember in 2016, they kept saying, Donald Trump, if you diagram his sentences, he speaks at a sixth grade level. And they write it with a sneer. And I'm looking at myself, they used to teach you in journalism school, you want to write at a very simple level. Use Anglo-Saxon words rather than Latin words if possible, and keep the sentences short because people lose their train of thought, their concentration. I mean, he understood that. And he understands it. And the other thing he does, he's like a blues singer repeating himself. The blues singers, they always are, devil dog coming down the highway, devil dog coming down the highway. And while you're thinking of the next line, devil dog coming down the highway, while I'm running away. So he's like doing his speeches or his impromptu remarks as like a blues singer. He repeats them twice and then he comes up with a new line, and it's easy to follow. You're right. Okay, 844-500-4242.
Howie, someone tweeted out today who's running the marathon. If they're going to cancel the marathon, can they let us know soon? Because I'd really rather sleep in this weekend than go on a 22-mile run. Because that's what they all have to do. They have to warm up every weekend. So I think some people are breathing a sigh of relief. Not everyone, but some people.
844-500-4242. Russ, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Russ.
First of all, Howie, to the Biden puppeteers, to me, he's their Charlie McCarthy, and there's no question about it. And God forbid if he became the president, they're going to be pulling all the strings on Joe Biden, otherwise known as Charlie McCarthy. The other two things I want to say is this. President Trump's son is right on the money. If the Trump haters only love this country as much as they hate Trump, they wouldn't be so stupid. Yeah. And I also want to make one other comment, and this was said by Huckabee in reference to Trump's tweets. He said, if you needed a major heart operation, do you want the surgeon with the best bedside manner or one that is top rated?
Right. No, you're exactly right. And and they're blaming him for everything. He announced that they weren't going to let in any Chinese nationals, like 5 weeks ago, or most Chinese nationals. And then they said he was xenophobic, right? So then they said, why isn't he cutting off more travel? So last night he says, okay, we're not going to let any people come in from the European Union, not Britain, because they're not in the European Union anymore, but nobody from the European Union, mainly meaning Italy, I guess, because they have a higher rate of infection. And so today, the Democrats who were complaining that we hadn't shut the borders quickly enough have now filed legislation in the House to end the travel bans. I mean, which do they want? And then let's play the cut of Biden about the cut 41 from Biden.
But neither should we panic or fall back on xenophobia. Labeling COVID-19 a foreign virus does not displace accountability for the misjudgments that have been taken thus far by the Trump administration. Let me be crystal clear. The coronavirus does not have a political affiliation. It will infect Republicans, independents, and Democrats alike, and will not discriminate based on national origin, race, gender, or zip code. It will touch people in positions of power, as well as the most vulnerable in our society.
So calling it a foreign virus is xenophobic. My first question for Joe Biden is, could you spell that, Mr. Vice President, xenophobic for me? Okay. And don't look at the teleprompter either. And don't look at Beto's campaign manager, who is now your campaign manager. Now, the other thing is, when did this become xenophobic? Let's have the supercut of all the basically CNN and MSNBC or MSLSD or MSDNC, whatever you want to call it, referring to the coronavirus as the Chinese virus or the Wuhan virus. Cut 30.
The Wuhan coronavirus has now surpassed the 2003 SARS outbreak.
The first U.S. case of Chinese coronavirus was confirmed at one of her hospitals.
Inside that building is the world's first lab-grown copy of the Wuhan coronavirus outside mainland China.
The Chinese coronavirus death toll has jumped to at least 26 people.
The death toll from the Wuhan coronavirus spiked today.
The Chinese virus, the coronavirus that is worrying the whole world.
This comes as the Chinese coronavirus death toll has jumped to at least 26 people and sickened at least 835 people.
Mr. Vice President, was that all xenophobic? Was that all nativist? Incidentally, MERS, remember MERS, MERS?
Mm-hmm.
Middle Eastern Respiratory Syndrome. Yes.
Cancel it.
Yes. Do you know what?
You better watch your microaggressions, bro.
Do you remember the Hong Kong flu?
Oh, gosh.
How dare you?
Where's the censor beep, Taylor? We're going to get in trouble here.
1918, we had something called the Spanish flu. Is that something that's xenophobic? Spanish flu? How dare you?
Howie, Molly Hemingway had a bunch of really good tweets today, but one thing she said was, if they were actually genuinely concerned about this and not trying to play it up, and we're not trying to downplay it, because it is, if you're older, you should be taking all the necessary precautions. But she said, if it were as big a deal as they're trying to make us believe, they wouldn't be doing things like the xenophobia thing. They would be letting go of this political correct hoopla that they're always concocting. But that's how you know, because they haven't changed their behavior. They're doing the same things they always do. They are overplaying their hand.
So Jim Acosta said that the speech smacked of xenophobia, even though the reporters, so-called, on CNN and MSNBC had been describing it in the exact same phrases and words that the president of the United States was using it on in his speech last night. But it's okay when they do it, but when he does it, it's xenophobia.
You can literally put his both tweets together side by side of him calling it the Wuhan virus and now him admonishing Trump, but they don't care. That they don't even acknowledge the hypocrisy. They just move on to the next thing.
844-500-4242. Thanks for the call, Russ. With home security, there are two ways you can go about protecting your home. There's the traditional way where you wait weeks for a technician to do a messy installation that costs a small fortune. Or there's the other way, Simply Safe. Simply Safe is everything you need in a home security system. It's award-winning protection, two-time winner of CNET Editor's Choice Award. Simply Safe blankets your whole home in safety. You get comprehensive protection for your entire home. Outdoor cameras and doorbells alert you to anyone approaching your home. Entry motion and glass break sensors guard inside. You barely notice it's there. But what's truly remarkable is that you can set this system up all by yourself. Anyone can do it. It takes 30 minutes to an hour, tops. And there's absolutely no trade-offs to your safety. You'll have an army of highly trained security experts ready to dispatch police to your home at a moment's notice, 24/7. and it's only 50 cents a day with no contracts. That's why The Verge calls SimpliSafe the best home security system. Go to simplysafehowie.com today and you'll get free shipping and a 60-day risk-free trial. You've got nothing to lose and peace of mind to gain. Go now and be sure you go to simplysafehowie.com. That's simplysafehowie.com. I'm Howie Carr.
You can call him Fat Boy, just don't call him late for dinner. It's Howie Carr.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you in part by The Still Bar and Grill in Agawam. The Still Bar and Grill has live music Wednesday through Sunday weekly. Stop by The Still Bar and Grill today in Agawam.
Are we starting to feel bad for Joe Biden? Sorta. Are we going to play his gaffes anyway? Of course.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Now we need to stand behind Jamie Harrison, the next president, next senator. I'm looking forward to appointing the first African-American woman to the United States Senate. Just like here in California, here in Nevada. Back in the spring, late fall, late spring, late winter, early fall. Anyway, you know what I mean. Look, tomorrow's Superstar Tuesday. I tell you what, I'm rushing ahead, aren't I? We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing. It says you cannot have 20, 30, 40, 50 clips in a weapon. We'll see who's sleepy.
Mr. Vice President, thank you.
All right, Chuck. Thank you very much.
All right. It's Christmas.
Sometimes I wake up and I think it's 1920, not 2020.
Here's how it works with my retirement accounts, and I'll bet yours too. If your 401k, your SEP, your IRA, whatever, is going up, you probably don't think very much about it, right? But if it's going down, well, there's nothing much else you can think of. So for the last couple of years, none of us have been worrying much about those quarterly statements. But lately, it's gotten a little worrisome. It's not that bad, not yet anyway, but what goes up must come down. Now is the time to start thinking about adjusting your investments. Gold and silver have always been a hedge against stock market volatility. Uncertainty about the future has traditionally meant rising prices for precious metals. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company I trust. Give Orion a call to get a free, no-obligation investment guide about protecting your future with an enduring investment in gold and silver. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including peace of mind, by calling Orion Metal Exchange now. Call them today at 800-912-2300. And with Orion, you'll get more metal for your money. Call 800-912-2300. That's 800-912-2300.
Jim Acosta, without a doubt, wins the competition for Trump's least favorite journalist of all time. Let's listen to some of their feistier moments.
I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN. Should I let him have a little bit more? What do you think, Peter? Peter, should I let him have a little bit more? Sit down. I'm changing it from fake news, though.
Doesn't that undermine?
Very fake news.
I know, but aren't you?
When I raise money, excuse me. I've watched you on television. You're a real beauty. Honestly, I think you should let me run the country. You run CNN.
All right.
And if you did it well, your ratings
Let me
would be
ask,
much better.
if I may ask one other question, Mr. President, if I may ask
Peter,
one other
go ahead.
question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's enough.
Mr. President, what do you say to your critics who say that you're concocting a national emergency here in order to get your wall because you couldn't get it through other ways?
What do you think? You think I'm creating something? Ask these incredible women who lost their daughters and their sons, because your question is a very political question, because you have an agenda. You're CNN. You're fake news.
This is Kevin from Brockton.
This is Karen from Boiling Springs, South Carolina.
This is Officer Mark calling from beautiful Stratford County, New Hampshire. And this is the Howie Carr Show.
Another texter wants to know, what about German measles? Yeah, what about German measles? Are we going to have to change that name too? You know, Lyme disease, that's pretty serious. You know where that comes from? The first case was reported in Lyme, Connecticut. So if somebody in China gets Lyme disease and they say Lyme disease, is that xenophobic? Do they hate Americans? 844-500-4242. Oh boy. Wuhan virus, xenophobic, blacktop, racist. The Gary Studs Stellwagen Bay Sanctuary, perfectly fine. I mentioned that Gary Studs is the late pederast congressman from Massachusetts. A bunch of his former students at St. Paul's School in Concord, New Hampshire, filed a lawsuit last year seeking damages because he was apparently a predator. He was a gay predator when he was a master at St. Paul's way back in the 60s. And it's all laid out in the lawsuit. I mean, we knew a lot of it because he took a congressional page over to Spain and applied him with vodka and then used him vodka and cranberry juice and used him for his own unspeakable ends. But this is it's more now. He's like a priest is what he was, a predatory Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Boston priest. And they've got all these things named after him. Ocean sanctuaries. And when the St. Paul suit was filed, I wrote a call. I called down to the NOAA, National Ocean, or whatever it is, and just said, are you gonna strip the names? Like, they're tearing down statues and everything's being renamed because of Confederates, et cetera, et cetera. This guy was a predator, but he was a gay predator. So nothing's happened. 844-500-4242. Dan, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Dan.
Hey, Howie. Listen, the president ought to postpone the election in the name of safety.
Yeah, that's the only thing they don't want to postpone. Well, they haven't gotten back. They don't trust their own polls. They say, "Oh, we're going to win easily," but they don't believe those polls. They know they're phony. I don't think they're going to postpone the election. I hope not. Anyway, I still think this thing's going to be over in fairly short order. But they're going. I'll tell you one thing though. They are going to postpone the Joe Biden campaign. You're not going to see Joe Biden anywhere in public anytime soon. And that would be a good poll question for later in the week. How long is it going to be before Joe Biden goes in front of a crowd where he can be confronted by any reporters, even Democrat operatives with press passes? We didn't play any of it yesterday because it doesn't really work as audio as much as video. But after he had that confrontation with the steel worker a couple of days ago in Detroit, the guy with the hard hat, when he was leaving that plant, he was asked a few more questions, and he really looked like a guy from an advanced care nursing home. He was just stumbling. He had vacant eyes, and they asked him some question, and he said, "I don't know why Sanders is acting like Trump." And but it was his demeanor, his looks that were even worse than his pointless, non-compass mentis speech. And they're not going to let him out in public. They're not going to do any more spin rooms for the debate, which has now been turned into a gentle discussion on Sunday night, by the way. 844-500-4242, Old Lyme, Connecticut. Whatever it is, Lyme, Old Lyme, something like that. Let's see here. Chris, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Chris. You there, Chris? No, Chris. Jack, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Jack.
Hey, Howie, thanks for taking my call. Listen, all this talk about this Wuhan virus, I'm getting a little hungry. Can I get some Chinese food?
Yeah, you should go to a Chinese restaurant. Be sure to patron some Chinese establishments as AOC gets a total pass from the media. 844-500-4242. I'm Howie Carr.
Why is finding promo codes that actually work so hard? With Honey, it doesn't have to be. Honey is the free online shipping tool that automatically finds the best promo codes so you don't have to search for one yourself. No more Googling promo codes.
Did you get Hinderacker?
No more digging in the dark corners of the internet.
Coming on at 4:30.
Oh, great. Okay, good. Thanks. I didn't see it. I'm sorry. Okay,
head to one of your favorite shopping sites like Walmart, Home Depot, eBay, Target, etc. When you check out, click the little Apply Coupons button that pops up. Wait a few seconds for Honey to scan its database of all the working coupons on the web. Then watch your price drop. Honey has over 100,000 five-star reviews. That's a lot. so you know it must be good. In fact, Honey's found over $2 billion in savings for its nearly 20 million members. Not using Honey is literally passing up free money. Download Honey on your computer for free at joinhoney.com/Howie. That's joinhoney.com/Howie.
He is the youngest senator that is going to be running. In his video, he also mentioned he's the only senator that lives in the inner city, and he's an unmarried vegan. So a lot of very unique qualities Cory Booker brings to the table, Kate.
Now, I appreciate the comments of my colleagues. This is about the closest I'll probably ever have in my life to an I am Spartacus moment. I am Spartacus. I am Spartacus.
Joey, you like movies about gladiators?
Have you ever had an LGBTQ law clerk?
I've not been a judge, so I don't have any law clerks.
I'm sorry, someone working for you.
I'm to be honest, I don't know the sexual orientation of my staff.
When Dick Durbin called me, I had tears of rage when I heard about this experience in that meeting. And for you not to feel that hurt, tears of rage.
Would you just stop being so dramatic?
I'm a big believer that if this country hasn't broken your heart, then you don't love her enough.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
Who was your favorite actor?
Humphrey Bogart, no doubt about it. I love all the old Humphrey Bogart movies. Jimmy Cagney would be a close second.
Do you have a celebrity crush?
No celebrity crushes.
Ginger or Marianne?
I always was a Marianne person. Never was bowled over by that Hollywood look. Plus, Ginger was in more revealing attire, scantily clad.
Salty or sweet?
Neither, but if I have to pick, I'll go with sweet.
Movies or TV?
TV.
McDonald's or Burger King?
McDonald's, although I'd prefer Five Guys.
Facebook or Twitter?
Definitely Twitter. I hate Facebook.
Cake or pie?
I'm a cake guy.
Coke or Pepsi?
Diet Coke.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee, obviously.
Winter or summer?
Summer. Good Lord. Why would you want winter? It's cold and it's dark.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
I'm here with Dr. Bruce Houghton from Perfect Smiles in Nashua, New Hampshire. Dr. Houghton, tell us about the state-of-the-art procedures that can help many people look 10 to 15 years younger.
As we age, we do lose these proper proportions to our faces. And so if you're deficient in your chin or mid-face, we can create the proper proportions and make you look great. Sometimes we use orthodontics to change the look of the face. Sometimes we just use the teeth themselves, and it creates the right support for a beautiful face. They're all non-surgical procedures.
There's some pretty complex cases that you deal with. Give me an example of a tough case.
Well, some cases, people just are missing a lot of teeth. I get a lot of people that come in and think that I cannot solve their problems because they're too great, but I really can. We've been doing this for over 35 years, and there isn't much that we haven't seen.
So even if you're missing a few teeth, or your teeth are discolored, or you're very embarrassed, there's no reason not to come in for a consultation, right?
Absolutely. New techniques, new technology, things are available to us that we never had before, and we can handle just about everything.
Where can people find you?
So you can find us at perfectsmiles.com or call 844-A-PERFECT-SMILE.
And now, another minute of Madam Speaker, Nancy Pelosi.
But again, don't you have these wings, AOC and her group on one side?
That's like 5 people. They would say, play games, and then they'd say, open sesame, except we don't say sesame, we say open Biden. But no, I because we are not. We have the number is growing. We have 91 women. There are 115 women in Congress, 116. 15 are Republican, 91 are Democrats. I happen to be a manifestation of the women power that is coming forth now, but only one manifestation. It was like getting kicked in the back by a mule constantly. It was physical. It was so unbelievable. The Times found Lincoln. Not to be presumptuous to put ourselves in those categories, but the Times have found us.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
You are known as a cheap bastard. Which one of your daughters is the cheapest and why?
Charlotte is the cheapest, and I say that because she's always using my credit card. We keep changing the credit cards over and over again, and she keeps busting in and using them again. Most recently, just this week, she spent $75 at AT&T.
What's the cheapest thing you do now to save money?
The cheapest thing I do currently to save money, I guess, is I take all the bottles and cans back to the market basket every weekend. I always like to save that money. You know, I can't stand to throw those bottles and cans away and have the unclaimed returns go to the state of Massachusetts for illegal aliens.
Do you recycle?
Yes, I do recycle. When I got on the town meeting, I saw that the town dump was probably the only department in the town that was running in the black, and it's because of all the recycling that was going on. So I try to keep my taxes down that way.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
This is the Howie Carr Show live from Chappaquiddick at the Party House. 25 years after Chappaquiddick 1969 on WHDH News Talk 850.
Another bad song from 1969. 742-0850. We're going to take some calls this segment if you want to get on board. If you have any questions for John Farrar, the scuba diver who saw Mary Jo Kopechne's body underwater. The number again, 742-0850. We're going to start talking about the incident and everyone's perceptions. John, let me just get this straight. So now, as far as your belief is that while Ted Kennedy was walking past all these houses back towards the Party House where we're broadcasting from now, Mary Jo was still alive.
That is correct.
And she would have been alive probably for about an hour, you think?
I think that's most reasonable, and if an hour, if not longer, that's correct.
If not, John, what happened at Perfect Smiles when you went?
The initial consultation was easy. In the past, they just hand me a clipboard to fill out the forms, but that's not how it worked at Perfect Smiles. What was nice was it was a true consultation. They asked me my medical history or what I wanted to get out of the treatment plan. For me, I lived with TMJ. I'd literally have to crack my jaw throughout the day to relieve the pressure. I'd get headaches throughout the day. I'd be in pain. When I was at Perfect Smiles, they asked me what I wanted to get out of the treatment. You know, as a joke, I just said, geez, I'd love you to be able to fix my TMJ. And I was surprised because Dr. Houghton specializes in working with patients like me that have TMJ.
What were the results of visiting Dr. Houghton at Perfect Smiles?
Not only did I walk out of that office with a perfect smile, but he fixed my TMJ. It was a life-changing event. People tell me now that my smile's amazing. People would say, geez, John, your teeth look so great. I never realized my...
Actually, I am. Do you have a favorite curse word? Poop. Poop? Oh, that's a goody two-shoes favorite curse word if I ever heard one.
Are you kidding? Have you ever seen a woman like me look you straight in the face after you finished some long explanation of something and then just said, poop?
Hold on a sec. I'm going to get me a beer.
I am not sure what she's talking about as far as a rally with.
It was a rally in Bern, Oregon, is that you have to figure out who you...
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
From the beginning of time, nations and people have faced unforeseen challenges, including large-scale and very dangerous health threats. This is the way it always was and always will be. The vast majority of Americans, the risk is very, very low.
The guy's an actor. He's reading a script. When they tell you not to panic, that's when you run.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
The NCAA announced that its upcoming championship events will take place without fans.
And tonight, the NBA suspending its season following the games tonight as a player tests positive.
This is crazy. This can't be true. I mean, it's not within the realm of possibilities. It's just, it seemed more like out of a movie than reality.
You could be more right than you know.
Houston, we have a problem.
Actor Tom Hanks posted on social media that he and his wife, Rita Wilson, have tested positive for the virus.
You never know what you're going to get.
Who's your captain? Howie Carr.
The president referred to the coronavirus as a, quote, foreign virus. It's going to come across to a lot of Americans as smacking of xenophobia.
Okay. The Wuhan coronavirus.
The first U.S. case of Chinese coronavirus.
The world's first lab-grown copy of the Wuhan coronavirus.
The Chinese coronavirus.
The death toll from the Wuhan coronavirus.
I can keep going.
Unchained and unstoppable.
We must put politics aside stop the partisanship and unify together as one nation and one family.
Can I finish now?
No, but no, you can't, John. John, he's the president. Even if someone else wrote it, it should be
I know
right.
he did, and he has to be Don.
This is CNN. Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
Welcome to the Howie Carr Show. We have not been postponed or canceled or quarantined, nor will we be. You can trust me and this television, radio, multimedia platform. We are not like the others. 844-500-4242. As you know, it's now been deemed xenophobic, if not racist, to refer to it as the Wuhan virus or the Chinese virus. It was okay on MSNBC and CNN hours ago to call it that, and they were all calling it that. But now that Donald Trump and Kevin McCarthy, the Republican leader in the House, began calling it the Wuhan virus or the Chinese virus, it's racist or xenophobic.
How dare you?
I don't know why we're calling it the coronavirus either. Corona is a name most people today associate with a beer imported from Mexico. Why aren't we calling it the Budweiser virus or the Heineken virus? Why, and again,
the Schlitz virus.
The Schlitz virus. Yeah. This goes back to the Spanish flu. Why are we calling the 1918 epidemic? Why are we calling it the Spanish flu? And, we need to retroactively change all of these names. German measles, MERS virus, Middle Eastern respiratory syndrome. All of these things have to be changed so that no one will be offended and that we have another excuse to attack Donald J. Trump.
You think if one of these viruses started here, any of the other countries would worry about calling it the American virus?
Again, Lyme disease.
The Boston virus?
Lyme disease from Connecticut. No one's demanding from the nutmeg state. Governor Lamont has not filed some kind of a suit on behalf of Connecticut to rename Lyme disease.
Howie, are we allowed to call Chinatown because it has people in there from China?
I've wondered about that for a long time. You can't see Charlie Chan movies have vanished from regular cable TV. So maybe we can't call it Chinatown anymore. Forget about it, Taylor. It's Chinatown. It's a line from an old movie. Don't call the PC police on me. It's time now for Grace's News. Are we going to have some more coronavirus or Heineken virus news?
No, I'm strictly no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's all coronavirus. There is nothing else. I've said this before, but you go on the New York Post, every story and every sub-story and every link is corona. So I'm going to start with...
What is the death toll, by the way?
I've been watching CNN, so they haven't said anything.
I think it's like 38.
It's bad in Italy.
That's not very much, is it? In a nation of 330 odd million people.
What numbers are you going by? Joe Biden says we have like 4 trillion people here.
Wait, you want to hear what Bernie said just a few minutes ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the number of fatalities may end up being, or the number of people who may get ill, and we all hope that number will be as low as possible. But we also have to face the truth, and that is that the number of casualties may actually be even higher than what the armed forces experienced in World War II.
Weren't there 400,000 people killed, servicemen killed in World War II, something like that? There were a lot. And the nation was only, I think, 130 million people back then. I like the fact, too, that they've been saying the last few days, I've read stories saying, well, a lot of people have been infected and didn't even know it. Well, if they've been infected and didn't know it, that means they didn't get sick, right?
Or it means that they got sick and they got
exposed
better.
Or you were exposed to it. I mean, but you could be exposed to anything. If you don't get sick,
It doesn't really count, does it?
No, I think it's more for people who had it, thought they just had the regular flu, got sick, got better, and now they've overcome it. But they didn't know at the time they had coronavirus, which I understand your point. It's like, well, okay, if it didn't kill them and they're fine now, then do we have to count that?
Rush Limbaugh made the point today. If this was such a terrible, deadly outbreak, wouldn't they be emphasizing how many people were killed? When you have a big traffic accident on an interstate highway because of snow or fog or whatever, it's always in the lead. How many people got killed?
If it bleeds, it leads.
If it bleeds, it leads. Exactly. If when they announce the casualty lists in Chicago or Baltimore for the weekend, the lead is how many people were killed and how many people were wounded in the gun violence, right? So you never hear how many people are dead here. And there's a reason, I think, for that, because people would not be inclined to just keep their eyeballs glued to the TV sets and keep clicking on more stories about this if they knew that the chances of being infected, let alone dying, are infinitesimal. Let me put it a different way. Has anybody under the age of 40 died from this? Has anybody under the age of 50 died from this? Has anybody under the age of 60 died from this? I'm just asking. Go ahead.
Okay, so I want to start with Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson. They were in Australia and they have contracted the coronavirus. And
they were making an Elvis Presley movie. I'm interested in that. What kind of Elvis Presley movie are they?
Oh, he's playing the Colonel, right?
Are they remaking Clam Bake?
No, they're doing an Elvis biopic, and Tom Hanks, I believe, is playing the Colonel.
Who's the Colonel?
I'd rather see a remake of Clam Bake. One of my all-time favorite Elvis songs, "Do the Clam." You know that song?
Is that the one where they're at the pool?
They're always at the pool.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that's a common theme. Okay,
it's like asking, is that Frankie Avalon movie by the ocean? Yeah.
Who's the Colonel? Should I know that?
He was Elvis's manager.
Yeah, the guy he was apparently an illegal alien from the Netherlands who snuck into the country, and he was the one who got him into the movies, and where he became a drug addict.
Xenophobe.
Like a 50-50.
Well, I'm calling it. He was the one who brought over probably Heineken virus to the country.
Phobic. Okay, anyway, my point with this Tom Hanks thing, because I know that story, everyone already knows Tom Hanks has been infected with coronavirus. Liberal pundit Mark Lamont Hill deletes joke about Tom Hanks. So for those of you who go, I know that name, somehow I know that name, he was a former CNN contributor who got in trouble after he called for a free Palestine from the river to the sea. And this is what he had. This was his joke.
Considering all the stupid stuff that's said on CNN on a daily, if not hourly basis, I mean, how bad do you have to be to get fired from CNN?
Yeah, even for CNN, it was
for saying
bad.
Stupid stuff.
But don't worry, he's still a professor at Temple University, so it wasn't.
Oh, is he a professor or is he an adjunct instructor in the night school?
It wasn't bad enough for them to kick him out. But
what was the joke?
Here's the joke. Thank you, Taylor. Howie's burying the lead over here. Here's the joke.
I'm a great straight man.
Go ahead. I'm black. He's responding to the Tom Hanks news.
This is already bad. Already bad.
So he's responding to the Tom Hanks news. He says, I'm black. Call me when Will and Jada got it. In other words, he does not. He does not care that it's Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson because he does not.
I thought it was going to be the other Tom Hanks joke where anytime something bad happens there and Tom Hanks, he's around to play the role of the person it happened to. He's there, like Captain Sully Sullenberger. The guy that was taken over by the pirates, Castaway, all these different movies, and now it just says never ever travel with Tom Hanks.
Yeah, I remember that movie. I'm the
crash.
captain now. That was his.
Yeah.
What if Mark Lamont Hill found out that Tom Hanks was playing an illegal alien in this Elvis movie? Would he have more concern about his health?
Someone responded back, you know what goes great with the slice of coronavirus media panic? Well, racist jokes, of course. He apologized and said that he wasn't trying to be mean.
201 has a good point here. You know how to make the coronavirus go away?
How?
Put a Democrat in the White House. There won't be any mention of this.
Oh, yeah. Well, here's the thing.
It'll be like the homeless problem. There are only homeless people in the United States when there is a Republican in the White House.
Here's the thing, Howie, though, and this is where I've said before they're overplaying their hand. We all know that. But here is the problem. So they're mad at Trump. This is his fault. It's the Trump virus. He should have done this. He should have done that. Even though when he did do it, you called him a racist. Whatever. But for the people who aren't decided yet,
right?
Do they honestly think to themselves, you know who would be handling this a lot better? Joe Biden. That's the question. Because it doesn't matter if you hate Trump. Will Biden be better at this?
He would bring in the Department of Defense, as he said this afternoon, the Department of Defense. Talking about erectile dysfunction isn't easy. Usually we just brush it off or blame ourselves, saying things like, I lost my mojo, or we avoid it altogether with excuses like, I had a long day at work, or sorry, honey, I'm just not feeling it. But with Roman, it is easy to talk about. With a real doctor who can prescribe real medication, it's simple, safe, and totally discreet. With Roman, you can get a free online evaluation and ongoing care for erectile dysfunction, all from the comfort and privacy of your own home. No awkward visits to the physician, hanging around the waiting room, talking to a nurse. No awkward visits to a pharmacy to pick up your prescription. Everything done from your own home and on a computer. The doctor will work with you online to find the best treatment plan. If medication is appropriate, Roman will ship it to you with free 2-day shipping. The whole process is straightforward, simple, and discreet. Getting started is simple. Just go to getroman.com/Howie and complete an online visit. Erectile dysfunction used to be tough to tackle, but now there's Roman. Complete an online visit today to connect with a doctor and take care of it. Just go to getroman.com/Howie to get a free online visit and free 2-day shipping. That's getroman.com/Howie for a free visit to get started. Getroman.com/Howie. I'm Howie Carr.
Don't touch that dial. Howie Carr will be back after this.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you in part by Nauset Beach Inn. Go to nausetbeachinn.com and click on special offers. Use promo code CAPE for the $100 room special.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
We went to the White House for the Christmas party. In your opinion, what was the highlight?
Taylor, what's the Forrest Gump cut?
The White House with
what's
race.
that all about?
There were two. Number one,
I just had that in the intro. It was
Trump
life was like a
International
box of
Hotel,
chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Coronavirus. And then when the president actually came down
just
the
some
stairs,
statistics for you.
She
The
was
swine
so
flu in 2009,
I really felt like
59 million Americans
I felt like I was
contracted
giving someone a really
265,000
great
hospitalized,
that they couldn't get
12,000 died.
You've had some really good interviews.
All when Joe
over the
Biden
years.
was vice
Which
president.
one was your favorite?
I can't really say what the best interview I ever had.
59 million
infected,
infected, 265,000 hospitalized, 12,000 died. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, so far we don't have all the numbers, but we have 38 dead so far, as opposed to 12,000.
This is much worse.
Yeah. I'm here with Dr. Bruce Houghton from Perfect Smiles in Nashua, New Hampshire. You get a lot of patients, I'm sure, who are apprehensive about veneers. What are some questions and fears you get when you're dealing with new patients?
Some people think they could look too fake, but true cosmetic dentistry is incredibly detail-oriented. So we put a lot of time and effort into individualizing how the smile looks, and we really make them look natural, but very, very pleasant.
You know, people are concerned. They wonder, I got my teeth. Do I really want to put caps on?
Exactly. Yeah, they think they'll have that Hollywood look or fake look, but the technology that we have available and the artistry that we can create now really makes things so natural that most people, in fact, most dentists are just surprised that we can create what we can create nowadays. Everyone is different. Everyone has different facial dimensions, different bone structure, and we do everything we can to individualize treatment because there is no one perfect smile. It is your perfect smile.
Dr. Houghton, where can people find you?
So you can find us at perfectsmiles.com or call 844-A-PERFECT-SMILE, 844-A-PERFECT-SMILE.
And now, 1 minute of Nancy Pelosi.
It is a bill that is much needed for our farmers and ranchers. I think there are only 47 votes against it in the House of Representatives. The American people should know the source of it. Again, we are engaged in the year-end continuing resolution Homeland Security. I'm not sure. No, I haven't spoken to him since he called the other day, which was a very amicable conversation. Amiable, I guess you would say, not amicable. And I talked to Chuck last night to say, we haven't had an answer. There are other things that are going on that are newsworthy, and I think you'd have more viewers or readers if people address concerns that people have. The list goes on about the
This is Deb in Danielson, Connecticut.
This is Greg in Boston, Mass.
This is Elizabeth in Wakefield, Massachusetts, and this is the Howie Carr Show.
Unfortunately, in this time of international crisis, it is clear to me, at least, that we have an administration that is largely incompetent and whose incompetence and recklessness have threatened the lives of many, many people in our country.
Especially in my age group, 85 and above. Incidentally said that the casualties could be greater than in World War II. Someone just sent me the casualties for World War II. Battle deaths, 291,000. Other deaths, 114,000. Wounded, 670,000. This is World War II. So far, corona deaths, 38. Coronavirus. Okay, swine flu. Joe Biden was president when swine flu happened 11 years ago.
Vice president.
I'm getting him. It was the Biden-Obama administration. Let's put it that way, as he would put it.
Howie, if he can mix it up so many times, you get one mulligan.
That's right. 59 million infected in the U.S., 265,000 hospitalized, 12,000 dead. Again, I repeat, 38 dead, coronavirus. Talking about erectile dysfunction isn't easy, but with Roman now it can be. With Roman, you can get a free online evaluation and ongoing care for erectile dysfunction, all from home. Go to getroman.com/Howie to get a free online visit and free 2-day shipping. Taylor, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Which will you miss more? NHL, NBA, MLB, the NCAA conference tournaments, or you won't miss any of them?
I'm going to miss the NCAA conference tournaments, even though my team wasn't going to be in there anyway because they got crushed last night in Greensboro.
I miss the NHL.
Most people, if they're going to miss something, they're going to miss hockey. 17%.
Yes.
But 66% aren't going to miss anything.
All righty. So, guys, before I get into my news, which involves Playboy magazine, just to hook everybody in right there, I want to remind everyone to go to HowieCarrshow.com, click on store. The gift cards are running low, but you still have time. A lot of people are texting in. They're asking us what was the cheap Astor deal. So I'm just going to explain it quickly again. It's IPL and Skin Wellness, and it's located in Timeless Salon and Spa in Dover, New Hampshire. And there's 2 treatments you can get with this gift card. It's worth $120. We're selling them for $60. That's 50% off. You can get the Skin Classics treatment for skin tags, rosacea, burst capillaries, and then you can also get the IPL permanent hair removal treatments, which is basically a gentler way of getting laser hair removal. This is a really good deal. Go to HowieCarrshow.com, click store, get your cheap Astor deals before they run out. Okay.
Nice Mother's Day present too.
Great present. And girls and ladies out there, buy it for yourself because I've gotten laser hair. You will not regret it. Playboy to end Playmate of the Year in favor of inclusivity.
Again, comes the recurring question whenever a magazine is mentioned in any context. I didn't know they were still publishing.
But you know how they used to say about magazines or about anything, sex sells? Does inclusivity sell? That's the question.
I think the situation with Playboy magazine, they used to have a circulation of about 10 million a month. Now it's 32 a month. So obviously sex does not sell, or at least it doesn't sell in on glossy magazine print anymore.
Yes, exactly.
Breaking news, guys. Not only is NCAA canceling having fans, they're canceling the tournaments altogether.
They're canceling everything, not just the conference tournaments. They're canceling all of March Madness.
Men's and women's basketball tournaments out.
Well, so can UNC with a 14-19 record losing 28 points to Syracuse last night, could we declare ourselves the national champions?
No.
Why not? Who's to say we're not? We wouldn't be.
You
They
were
could
the
be
last
honest
champion.
Howie's national champions.
The Tar Heels were the last to lose. So
Yeah,
they were.
They're
That
definitely not it.
That doesn't seem fair. How would you like to be the last team to lose before the season was canceled?
But Howie, any other team besides them and the other teams that lost could say technically that they're the national championships. Your team is actually one of the only ones that can't say
I guess it's a 450-way tie for the national championship this year. There's not going to be any Final Four. There's not going to be any March Madness. There's not going to be anything.
Inclusivity. Everyone gets a trophy. I know people are going to be, we're joking around, but I'm really bummed out for people. I mean, Broadway shutting down. Taylor, you're a thespian as well. That breaks my heart. The expression is the show must go on. But I guess in these trying times, we have to play it safe. I wish everyone would just stay home for 2 weeks and see if it goes away.
Is the espresso machine working?
We're down to one pod, Howie. One pod.
Oh, no, you sound like Biff, Taylor.
We're talking down here in Boca. We're okay. We'll be right back with John Heinderracker from PowerlineBlog.com. I'm Howie Carr.
Every 4 years, we as a nation agree to suspend disbelief and accept at face value the word of people who are both strangers to us and to the truth. We call this quadrennial descent into self-delusion the presidential election cycle, and we here at Matthews Brothers have lived through 41 of them over the past 166 years. Now, while we expect our trusted politicians to look us in the eyes and lie to us about their past behavior and future performance, we're less tolerant about performance claims when it comes to important stuff like medicine or windows. Unfortunately, stretching the truth is not limited to those seeking public office. We see it in the home improvement industry as well. In a desperate effort to make a sale, some companies will exaggerate, distort, hyperbolize, and otherwise try to mislead the public. That's why we here at Matthews Brothers love the interwebs and all the data they contain. We believe that the more accurate information a consumer has, the better equipped they are to make a choice, whether it's a window or even a president. You can learn more about the amazing performance of our authentic, wicked awesome Maine-made products, but only at Better Lumberyards and Window Professionals or on the web at MatthewsBrothers.com. Matthews Brothers with one T, America's oldest window manufacturer.
He's the gaff that keeps on giving. Here's 1 minute of former Vice President Joe Biden.
You teachers who touch them, figuratively speaking, well, I hope you touch them and tell them how much you love them too. But my point is, when you touch their hearts,
I get in trouble some things I say, but I want to tell you, just be straight up. If I'm your president, with me, it starts here in my gut, goes to my heart, and then I articulate it.
And by the way, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. 1.2 billion. So you go ahead and you stack spaghetti sauce at a store in a supermarket. You control the guy or the woman who brings out the carts on a forklift. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap, and I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
The Subaru of New England, Washington's birthday sales event lasts all month long. Feel the freedom in the all-new all-wheel drive 2020 Subaru Outback with standard LED headlights, starting at only $26,645 with 0.9% financing for up to 38 months, or lease for only $249 per month for 36 months with $2449 due at signing. Details at SubaruofNewEngland.com.
Brace yourself, guys. Here is 1 minute of Nancy Pelosi.
I myself have always been for lowering the voting age to 16. I think it's really important to capture kids when they're in high school, which was a very amicable conversation. Amiable, I guess you would say, not amicable.
That they wanted their voices to be heard.
I don't think our colleague is anti-Semitic. I think she has a different experience in the use of words. That's not the total package, but there are some of the major points of discussion, I would hope, from sea to shining sea, because they are not getting paid 163. Was it 163 Republicans voted no. Wisdom from the kitchen of the Willard Hotel, yes, ma'am. The president either doesn't know what he's talking about, or doesn't want to know it, he's telling that.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
In Palm Beach, Princess and Frisky, they weren't really my dogs, but I took care of them. They lived with me. So they were my dogs. I love those poodles.
When you were a kid, what was the best gift you ever received?
I got this wooden fort from FAO Schwartz in Palm Beach, about the age of 6 or 7, 10 soldiers to go along with it. Such a cool fort. I had that fort for like maybe close to 10 years.
What is your all-time favorite movie?
Probably Goodfellas. I love Goodfellas. I love it even more than The Godfather.
What is your favorite dessert?
Oh, that's a tough one. Probably chocolate ice cream, followed by vanilla ice cream, followed by coffee ice cream.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
844-500-4242. One of my favorite websites, I go to it every morning, is powerlineblog.com. I like to get their take on the news of the day. And John Heineracher had a great column today. Self-quarantining sounds familiar. Updating it. It's something I've been thinking about myself, but he put it very well. Maybe I'm crazy, but I think a great many people welcome the opportunity to self-quarantine or at least achieve social distance as the apotheosis of a trend that has been going on for quite a while. In today's world with electronic communication everywhere and pretty much everything ready to be delivered to your door, there is arguably little reason to go out. I think that sums it up perfectly. John, I think a lot of people have been thinking this, but very few people have actually written it because you're supposed to be frightened and panicked and, using this as an excuse to bash Donald Trump. But I think a lot of people actually think this is a good opportunity to get a few days off and not do unpleasant things.
Yeah, I think that's right, Howie. I think, one of the things that really caused me to think this is true is following my family text line, which my son and 3 daughters and wife are all on. And it's all about who gets to stay home. It's yay. My company says I have to stay home. Oh, you still have to go to work? That's too bad. All around us, schools are sending their students home, saying, don't come back. Businesses, my old law firm, now 1,200 lawyers strong, has closed all of its offices worldwide on account of coronavirus. Everybody is supposed to work from home. Everywhere you look, Major League Baseball has deferred opening its season.
March Madness is dead as of today. They just did it a few minutes ago.
I can't believe it. And so it's a crazy, I think, overreaction.
Right.
But it's an overreaction that is really welcome to a lot of people because this, Howie, is the direction we have been moving in for a long time. Look at the whole trend of the last 20 years or so. Stay home, avoid other people, reduce all of your contacts with other people to electronics, stay in touch with email and text and Instagram and TikTok and with the kind of delivery you can get now from Amazon Prime and everything else under the sun, you really have very little reason to leave your house.
I know, they always say, that the federal government is really overextended. And the only reason the federal government exists is for the national defense and for the transportation system and for the courts. So I just got a text right before I went on the air, John. The U.S. courts in Boston, I'm sure it's the same everywhere else, have now kicked everything down the road to April 27th. Everything's continued until April 20. 6 weeks. 6 weeks.
That's amazing.
But I'm sure it's the same way where you are. That's just the way it is. People who, let me read a little bit more of what you were saying. Isn't staying home and interacting with other people only virtually pretty much where we've been headed for the last 20 years. Why go out? You can save a lot of money cooking at home. You've got a giant flat screen TV or several. There's beer in the fridge where you would rather spend time with your wife and kids than attend boring business or social events. So why not stay home? Yeah, though, John, I just don't know how long are, not all the cable networks, like not Newsmax or Fox or OAN, but how long are MSNBC and CNN going to be able to sustain this level of hysteria when the death toll is under 50?
Well, I don't know, Howie. I mean, they've been sustaining a level of hysteria since about November of 2016 that I never thought they could keep up. They're going on 4 years, so I don't know. I think their ability to remain hysterical should not be underestimated. I put up a little chart earlier today, Howie, on Powerline. You might have seen it. It's a simple bar chart. There's just two bars. And one of the bars shows the number of fatalities from the seasonal flu virus in the United States in the 2017-18 season. That was 80,000. 80,000 people died. And the second bar shows the number of fatalities so far from coronavirus. That bar is 38. And you can't actually see it.
Yeah, so there's one bar. What you're saying is there's one bar. I looked at it earlier today.
Right. So that's right. There's one bar. And I'm sure there will be more coronavirus deaths. And I don't mean to make light of it. Don't get me wrong. It is a legitimate, serious public health issue. If you look at what's happened in Iran, for example, or in China, it is really scary. But for the large majority of people, it is going to be a cold. It's going to be a cold virus where you cough, and after a couple of weeks, you're fine. And I'm going to continue to update this bar chart over the coming weeks and months. And maybe coronavirus is going to turn into this enormous, public health hazard where it dwarfs the deaths that we suffered from flu just 2 years ago, when it wasn't even a news story that 80,000 people died. I mean, no one even knows that. Wasn't even considered newsworthy. And so maybe we'll dwarf that total. Maybe 300,000 will die. Maybe 500,000 will die. I don't know. But if I had to guess, watching how this thing is going, if I had to guess, I'd be surprised if we see the number of deaths from coronavirus in the U.S. that we saw just 2 years ago from seasonal flu.
Bernie just said that there might be more deaths from coronavirus than in World War II. And there were 400,000 deaths in World War II, battle and other related deaths. 400,000. I mean, talk about, irresponsible statements. But he doesn't care. And look, you also had another good piece today about Joe Biden. How does he get away with it? I want to play you I want to just play you one wacky cut from his press conference today. And again, he's a beneficiary of coronavirus. He's canceled all of his political events. The debate is slowly being removed. First it was going to be in Phoenix with a crowd and a spin room. Then it was going to be in Washington, no crowds, no spin rooms. And it's just going to be a panel discussion, and I assume by Sunday there won't be a debate. But here's what he said today about his plans. Cut 49, Taylor.
The Department of Defense should be planning now, should have been planning to prepare for the potential deployment of the resources provided, medical facility capacity, and logistic support that only they can do.
That's the Department of Defense. You may feel free to quote him on that.
Right. And as usual with Biden, you have no idea what he's talking about. The words and the phrases kind of stumble over one another, and you're left saying, what? But, this is a serious issue. I wrote about this yesterday, and the title of my post was Joe Biden Can't Be President. And I started by saying, I'm not saying Biden shouldn't be president. That has always been true. I'm saying that he lacks the physical and mental qualities necessary to do the job, not to do it well, but to do it at all. And what we're seeing is a candidate here who is obviously, falling into dementia. And there's a short video clip that I put up along with this where he looks like he's 115 years old, and he looks totally out of it, just not in contact with his surroundings. and his handlers are leading him down a sidewalk, and reporters are yelling questions at him. And he answers one of the reporters in a way that's just a complete non sequitur. It makes no sense.
It's babbling.
Something about being,
yeah,
he's just babbling. Something about, he's surprised that Bernie Sanders is joining Donald Trump. It's like, what?
I think that was
totally inappropriate.
I hadn't watched that thing until you posted it, John Hinderaker from powerlineblog.com. I think that video was taken after he left his confrontation, was walking. Did he? I mean, he
doesn't. He gets kind of led down the sidewalk by his handlers and, helped into the vehicle. And it's a sad spectacle. Yeah. But it's a particularly sad spectacle when there's a bunch of people who want him to be the president of the United States. I mean, he obviously lacks the faculties necessary for the job.
If he had wandered away, they would have had to put out a silver alert for him because he never could have found his way back to the car. I don't think
Well, that's the impression he gives anyway. I mean, the look in his eye, the kind of far away, frozen expression, when he finally blurts something out, it's completely inappropriate, as a response to the questions he's been asked. And of course, that crazy exchange we had with I think it was on the same day. And as you say, this may have been just shortly after,
right.
But the crazy exchange with the union worker at the auto plant under construction. And
who had a better grasp on he had a better grasp on the issues.
Auto plant under construction in Detroit because of President Trump's policy.
Right.
And, anyway, he gets into an argument about gun control. He starts talking about the AR-14, and I mean, it's just.
And he forgot what he said. He forgot what he said about he was coming after the guns, and he was going to make Beto O'Rourke, who said he was going to go door to door picking up guns. That's why he called the guy a horse's ass and said he was full, what. But as long as I've got you here, John, you guys, Powerline Blog is out of Minneapolis, or it used to be. And you and Scott Johnson, one of your colleagues, have been writing a lot about Ilhan Omar. So we should announce the happy nuptials. She's gotten married for the second, third, or fourth time to this guy that she said she wasn't even dating, or possibly fifth. Are we up to five? I didn't know five was.
It's a heartwarming story. It's a heartwarming story of romance, and what's funniest about it, Howie, is they went to North Dakota State together.
Wrap it up.
The husband that she said she married Islamically, but never actually at that time got around to marrying, but had two kids with. And her brother, this guy, Elmi, whom she then married so that he could stay in the U.S., they all three went to North Dakota State together. And then for a year after, they all lived at the same address, So it's not a menage a trois. It's Ilhan and her husband and her brother. But you can't pry that information out of the local press. It is really astonishing. So then, of course, she finally gets around to marrying the guy she has 3 kids with. She divorces her brother, marries the guy she had the 3 kids with, and then within less than a year later, I think she divorces that guy amid rumors.
Picks up this other guy, and he's now converted to Islam. Does this mean they're not going to be bringing beer into their love nest?
Gotta go.
But we got to take a break, John. But I really appreciate you being with us. That's John Hinderaker from powerlineblog.com. You ought to check it out. I'm Howie Carr.
Keep it here. The captain will be back after this.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you in part by Salt Air Inn Bed and Breakfast in Bar Harbor, Maine, just steps away from Acadia National Park. Call Matt or Christy at 207-288-2882. That's 207-288-2882.
This is your absolute last chance to save big, so please listen up. If you haven't called New England Center for Hair Restoration for your $6,000 hair restoration, you better call today, because after this coming Monday, they go back to their regular pricing. Do you want a natural-looking, undetectable hair transplant at an unbeatable price? Imagine your own hair growing where there was none. Get more hair for less money. Get a hair transplant for just $6,000. I know there are still some of my listeners out there who could use a great hair restoration at an unbeatable price. You know who you are. What are you waiting for? The price goes back up after Monday. Save $3,500 for qualifying patients. You cannot afford not to do this, so don't wait. Remember, this unbelievable price for a hair restoration ends this coming Monday. For those who qualify, third-party financing is available with monthly payments as low as $119. Call 800-313-HAIR for your free consultation. That's 800-313 hair. Call 800-313-HAIR or visit 6khair.com. That's 6khair.com.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
Would you say you're more like your mom or your dad?
No, I don't think I ended up being like either of them, now that I think about it. My mother worked hard, but she never really learned how to make a lot of money. And my father didn't work so hard, but he had a good personality. He was good with people. He was better than me with people. That's what I'm saying. I'm not like either one of them, I don't think.
Did you have any siblings?
Yes, I have a brother, a younger brother.
What was your favorite subject in school?
Well, all kinds of history. I loved all kinds of history.
If you could have 3 houses besides the ones you already have, anywhere in the world, where would they be?
I wouldn't mind having another house in Palm Beach on Clark Avenue. Maybe a place in southern Maine. I don't need a third place.
Didn't you already have a house in Maine?
I did. It was on an island. It was not a good fit for the mailroom manager.
I've heard the house was haunted. Is that true?
Yes. And my wife didn't really care that much for my relatives. Here's how it works with my retirement accounts, and I'll bet yours too. If your 401k, your SEP, your IRA, whatever is going up, you probably don't think very much about it, right? But if it's going down, well, there's nothing much else you can think of. So for the last couple of years, none of us have been worrying much about those quarterly statements. But lately, it's gotten a little worrisome. It's not that bad, not yet anyway, but what goes up must come down. Now is the time to start thinking about adjusting your investments. Gold and silver have always been a hedge against stock market volatility. Uncertainty about the future has traditionally met rising prices for precious metals. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company I trust. Give Orion a call to get a free, no-obligation investment guide about protecting your future with an enduring investment in gold and silver. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including peace of mind, by calling Orion Metal Exchange now. Call them today at 800-912-2300. And with Orion, you'll get more metal for your money. Call 800-912-2300. That's 800-912-2300. The Moonbats always say Donald Trump isn't very bright. But what about Barack Hussein Obama? Let's listen to some of his greatest hits.
I've now been in 57 states. I think 1 left to go. I don't know what the term is in Austrian. The Cambridge police acted stupidly.
And there has never been any man or woman more qualified for this office than Hillary Clinton.
There are neighborhoods around the country where it is easier for a 12 or 13-year-old to purchase a gun and cheaper than it is for them to get a book. I believe in the Second Amendment. It's there written on the paper.
If we fall for, a bunch of okey doke.
A few months ago, when you were asked what's the biggest geopolitical threat facing America, you said Russia, not Al Qaeda. You said Russia. In the 1980s are now calling to ask for their foreign policy back.
So, Taylor, who've I got with me?
I'm sorry?
Who've I got with me from Orion?
Nobody yet. We're trying to call him. He hasn't called in. His name is Jacob.
Paul in North Andover,
Jacob?
This is Luana
It's
in
Orion.
Lexington,
And it's
Massachusetts.
Orion Metal
Florida,
Exchange.
Augusta, Maine, and this is the Howie Carr Show.
It's Orion Metal Exchange.
Yes.
Tell me when he's on.
You're on.
844-500-4242. It was another bad day for the Dow Jones Industrial Average and all the stock markets. The Dow Jones was down over 2,300 points. And that at this point, that amounts to just about 10% of the market value was shed today by the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So it's you could say it's a buying opportunity, or you could say there's panic. It's officially a bear market, which means it's down 10%. It was just down 10% in one day today. And so we're just going to have to get through it. 844-500-4242.
I'm supposed to take a vacation at the end of the month, going to Disney World. They just closed Disneyland in California for the rest of the month.
Well, Disney World is still open, at least for a few more days, right?
Yeah, we'll see if they close that down. I mean, that's their premier moneymaker, but it's not looking good.
Well, it'll probably, everything seems to be closing at a fairly rapid clip. Various venues.
I texted
sports.
Grace. I said, this has got to be the last minute ditch effort by the Dems to get everybody that likes anything that's good in this world to hate Trump. NCAA is canceled. Everybody's going to hate Trump. And NBA and MLB, everything's canceled. People are going to hate Trump. Going to blame him for this.
Well, they think they're going to blame Trump for this, but I think that at some point it dawns on even the low info voter, does it not? That you can only cry wolf so many times. There's only so many times you can say the sky is falling, until.
And that's why he pointed it out in his speech last night that this came from somewhere else. He didn't say China specifically in his opening sentence. He said a foreign virus. This did not come from here. Did not start with us. We're reacting to it. So that's why he had to say that.
Yeah, and again, why is it always okay to refer to a virus or a flu by where it originated until now, because Donald Trump says it becomes xenophobic or racist, even though the same people who are accusing him of xenophobia or racist were describing it as the Wuhan virus or the Chinese virus hours, if not days or weeks ago. But it's when Trump says it somehow becomes xenophobic. I mean, this is the level of hysteria, as John Heindeраcker said, that they've been operating under since November 8th, 2016. They've in a human being, a fever reaches a certain level and kills you, or it breaks. What they've been operating under this fever for almost 4 years, and it just keeps getting higher and higher and higher. Their brains are fried, but they still keep operating. Let's just hear a little bit of Jim Acosta. This is, he's got the X word. Again, he's another guy like Biden. I'd like to ask him to spell xenophobia, or spelled it 2 days ago. He may know how to spell it now, but here it is, cut 28.
The president referred to the coronavirus as a, quote, foreign virus. That I think was interesting because as I was talking to sources earlier this evening, one of the points that the president wanted to make tonight, wanted to get across to Americans, is that this virus did not start here, but that they're dealing with it. Now, why the president would go as far as to describe it as a foreign virus, that is something we'll also be asking questions about. But it should be pointed out that Stephen Miller, who is an immigration hardliner who advises the president, is one of his top domestic policy advisors and speechwriters, was a driving force in writing this speech. And I think it's going to it's going to come across to a lot of Americans as smacking of xenophobia, to use that kind of term in this speech.
It smacks. Sugar Smacks. Sugar Smacks, made by the same company that makes Corn Pops. Joe Biden's buddy from the old days back in Delaware. So here is the AP reporting on Biden's comments about the swine flu, where he said he went up. Well, we're out of time. We'll get back to this. 844-500-4242. We'll be right back. I'm Howie Carr.
He called with 1 minute to go, Howie.
What?
Why is finding promo codes
that guy Jacob called with 1 minute to go before the break.
So
we're going to reschedule him for 5:20.
Hey, you sure he's going to be there? It's a pain in the ass.
Have something prepared. I'm not going to hold my breath.
Okay.
in 2020, so we should play some of his greatest hits.
Barack and I finally reduced the disparity in sentencing, which we've been fighting to eliminate, in crack cocaine versus powder cocaine. Correct.
Hanks posted on social media that he and his wife, Rita Wilson, have tested positive for the virus.
You never know what you're going to get.
Who's your captain? Howie Carr.
The president referred to the coronavirus as a, quote, foreign virus. It's going to come across to a lot of Americans as smacking of xenophobia.
Okay. The Wuhan coronavirus, the first U.S. case of Chinese coronavirus.
The world's first lab-grown copy of the Wuhan coronavirus.
The Chinese coronavirus.
The death toll from the Wuhan coronavirus.
I can keep going.
Unchained and unstoppable.
We must put politics aside, stop the partisanship, and unify together as one nation and one family.
Can I finish now?
No, you
Let
can't,
me talk.
John, he's the president. Even if someone else wrote it, it should be
I know
right.
he did, and he has to be Don.
This is CNN. Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
We have to play that entire cut with Don Lemon and the former governor of Ohio, John Kasich, last night. They brought on Kasich. He's a CNN contributor. That means he gets a paycheck to attack.
Aren't we torturing people enough with coronavirus talk?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's anything else to talk about. I mean, there are other events going on. Like, for instance, the FISA reauthorization bill, which just basically allows the Democrats to continue using this secret court with ex parte, meaning one-sided hearings, as a secret police force against the Republican Party. They passed something in the House on pretty much of a straight party line vote to continue to allow the FISA courts to be used as a Democrat secret police star chamber. And now Rand Paul and Mike Lee are suggesting that the president veto it, and it looks like that's going to happen. And that's news. And yesterday in Iraq, there was an attack by the Iranian-backed militias on a U.S. base, an allied base, and two Americans and a Brit were killed. But you haven't heard anything about that because it's all this coronavirus. So there were 3 people killed in that attack by Iranians in Iraq. That's 1/13 of how many people have died in the U.S. in the coronavirus. But what are we talking about? So, but I guess maybe you could say it's a moot point to attack Iran because they're really being ravaged by this. 1/8 of the parliament, or whatever the hell they call their legislative body over there, such as it is, are infected with coronavirus. Anyway, it's time now for the chump line.
Yeah, Howie, what do you mean Joe Biden going to sneak up on a woman? How else is he going to get close to one?
It's probably just as well for Tulsi Gabbard that she's being denied a chance to be in this debate, especially with this terrible coronavirus out there. She could get infected very easily by Sleepy Joe, Creepy Joe, Slow Joe, whatever you want to call him. Uncle Joe.
Hey, Howie. I'm just sitting here watching the TV as everyone cancels their season. I'm wondering when the IRS is going to cancel its season. That's what I'm hoping for.
Well, some congressmen are saying that's what they should do. That I think they're going to postpone. They're going to give you a later deadline to file. It's not going to be April 15th this year. But
people still file physically, Howie. Like, it's if somebody's infected with the coronavirus, it's just sending in the virus to them directly.
Oh no, you could come down with a cold, Taylor. The Chump Line is brought to you every weekday at this time by Matthews Brothers, America's oldest window manufacturer, whose wicked awesome windows and doors are only available through Better Lumber Yards and Window Professionals.
Fastest way to kill coronavirus is to convince Hillary Clinton it plans to testify against her.
That's very rude. You think the coronavirus could be Arkansided?
Howie, Joe Biden calling. Come on, man. I watched Donald Trump's malarkey last night on the Dumont Network. The fact is, when the Spanish flu hit in 1918, President Roosevelt went on TV and said, "We got to end this Spanish-American war." Then he sent me to the Alamo to meet David Jones. We had tapioca pudding. A minute.
The Dumont Network. Wow. That's going back. Joe Biden also remembers the NBC Blue Network. That later became the ABC Network, for those of you who are keeping score at home. Joe Biden doesn't need to be reminded, though. He remembers. He grew up listening to The Shadow. Lamont Cranston.
Calling it the Wuhan coronavirus is racist and mean-spirited. We should really call it what it is. The People's Liberation Army's secret biological warfare lab virus.
We don't know that, but some people are speculating that. I'll just point that out, that there is no evidence yet. 508 says coronavirus deaths 38, murder by firearms in Chicago this year, 3 months, 79. All theme parks in Florida open, Disney near maximum capacity all month. By the standards I hear on the news, the streets of Orlando should be covered in bodies. Yeah, have you noticed that?
Republican talking points, Howie. That's all you're spewing out.
And there's Sleepy Joe, you know he's not gonna go to the White House. No Sleepy Joe's White House.
He didn't take any questions at his presser today, so that no one could ask him about his response to swine flu. I don't think he has much memory of swine flu. I think he remembers the Dumont Network and the NBC Blue Network a lot better than he remembers swine flu back in 2009.
Stop the panicking. Who's doing all that panicking? Stop that panicking now.
I'm going to go upstairs and find out who's panicking. The next break. Stop the panicking.
Hey, think while they're canceling everything, they can cancel The Bachelor?
Grace?
The Bachelor will not be bullied, and The Bachelor will not bow to this coronavirus. And also, the season just ended a few days ago, so we're in the clear.
Were you planning on watching the game tonight? Well, there aren't going to be any games tonight. ESPN is on hiatus. It'll be doing the great sports stars of yesteryear. But if you want to get some great screen gem entertainment, may I suggest Boston Blackie,
No!
Booked on Suspicion, available on YouTube.
How many more times can people watch that? It's cruel and unusual.
How about
about time. Go ahead.
One Mysterious Night. That was another great screen gem from Boston Blackie. Go ahead, Taylor.
I think it's about time Don McLean writes a sequel to Miss American Pie called The Day the Sports Games Died.
Go ahead.
Hi, Howie. Governor Patrick calling. There you go again, using racist terms like blackmail and black toe. It's not surprising, though, considering you were the last Boston columnist to get the N-word in print. You racist. We're going to be fat.
Is that true?
No, I got a word that sounds like the N-word.
Oh, yes. Don't say it. I know the word.
A pay raise, a miserly pay raise. It's a synonym for miserly that starts with N. I won't go any further. I'm afraid to even say the word now, even though it has
yes.
We're
no
not going to
connection.
say the word.
We should be afraid.
Okay, but I got it on the
enough
front.
trouble with blackguard yesterday.
You're kidding. That's a legitimate word too. All these words are legitimate. Oh well.
Yeah, Howie, I'm just wondering if Black Lives Matter is now a racist organization.
They changed the name of La Raza. That was Brown Lives Matter, I guess. But La Raza changed its name, but a rose by any other name would smell just as bad, I guess.
Joe Biden said he was tested for the coronavirus, and he's pleased to announce that he's definitely not pregnant.
Yes, he probably isn't.
Oh, my darling, oh, my darling, oh, my darling quarantine. I'm stuck here with my family. It's a hell I've never seen.
As long as you get self-quarantined in your house and you can get delivery of all the goods you need.
Netflix.
From Butcher Box, from the local supermarkets, from Total Wine, from whatever. Is it really that much of an arduous event? I think not.
I think anyone who votes Democrat these days has electile dysfunction.
Nobody's going to be voting on anything. I guess, are the polls going to be closed? We're having a primary down here in Florida next week. Are they going to have the polling places open in this epidemic? There's at least 3 or 4 people in this state of maybe 20 million people that are infected.
We got to skip the election this year. Donald Trump forever.
That was your last chump line message. Thank you for calling Howie Carr, you chump.
All right, that's it for the Chump Line today. The Chump Line is the recorded voicemail message service of the Howie Carr Show. You can call and leave a message at any hour of the day or night, including weekends. The Chump Line number, if you'd like to leave such a message, 844-500-4242. Press 2 for the Chump Line and leave your message. We may or may not play it at this time each weekday. The Chump Line is brought to you by Matthews Brothers, America's oldest window manufacturer, whose wicked awesome windows and doors are only available through Better Lumber Yards and Window Professionals.
Stop the panicking. Who's doing all that panicking? Stop that panicking now.
Online shopping is supposed to be easy. Again, I just got another book delivered to me today that I ordered online. It came a little with the worse for wear, but it cost me $3 and $3.99 for shipping. That's the way it works. It's very cheap and very good entertainment, especially with no college basketball to watch now. The problem is when you go online, why is finding coupon codes that actually work so hard? With Honey, it doesn't have to be. Honey is the free online shopping tool that automatically finds you the best promo codes and applies them to your cart. In these days, when you're ordering more and more online and not wanting to go to the supermarket or the store or the shopping center or the mall, now's the time to download Honey to your computer and shop on all your favorite websites just like normal. When you check out, just click the little Apply Coupons button that pops up. Wait a few seconds for Honey to scan its database of all the working coupons on the web. Then watch your prices drop. Grace, take it from here.
So the thing is, whenever I when I first got this, I thought, yeah, but I'm never going to remember to apply it to all the different websites. But you don't have to remember to apply it. If you go on a website, it will automatically generate the coupons. It will pop up as a reminder, and you can just click it and save all your money. So let's say you're Taylor and you're getting an I Love My Pitbull bumper sticker. You just click the button, all the coupons for the bumper sticker will show up, and you probably are going to save 20%. Sometimes you get free shipping. Most, if not all, websites are running some sort of deal that you're not going to be aware of unless you have Honey.
Joke's on you. I don't buy bumper stickers, but I will buy Kramer some treats.
Oh, okay.
Honey works on nearly
Wrap it up.
every online store, including Walmart, Target, Home Depot, Macy's, Etsy, and more. Honey has found over $2 billion in savings. That's why it has over 100,000 five-star reviews on the Google Chrome store. Not using Honey is literally passing up $3. Plus, it's free to use and installs in just a few seconds. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/Howie. That's joinhoney.com/Howie. I'm Howie Carr.
Don't touch that dial. Howie Carr will be back after this.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you in part by Restaurant in Weymouth. Precinct 10 is a secretive speakeasy restaurant featuring classic cocktails and regional menu. From New England seafood to Southern barbecue. Find out what's hiding behind their wooden doors.
I'm the Vice President of the United States.
Love him or hate him, Joe Biden's here for the long haul. But we can't get enough of his gaffes. Here's the best of Uncle Joe speaking before he thinks.
We choose truth over facts.
When the stock market crashed, Franklin Roosevelt got on television.
Make sure you have the record player on at night.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Okay, look, all right. Look, well, you can frack with me later, okay?
The teachers are, I'm married to a teacher. My deceased wife is a teacher. And Corn Pop was a bad dude.
I can tell you, and I've known 8 presidents. 3 of the minimum.
If you agree with me, go to Joe 30330 and help me.
Had over 40 kids shot at Kent State on a beautiful lawn. I love this place. Look, what's not to like about Vermont in terms of the beauty of it?
I said something that was not meant the way I said.
I mean, what is it that I said wrong? I want to be clear. I'm not going nuts.
Anyway, my time's up. I'm sorry.
I'm here with Dr. Bruce Houghton from Perfect Smiles in Nashua, New Hampshire. You get a lot of patients, I'm sure, who are apprehensive about veneers. What are some of the questions and fears you get when you're dealing with new patients?
Some people think they could look too fake, but true cosmetic dentistry is incredibly detail-oriented. So we put a lot of time and effort into individualizing how the smile looks, and we really make them look natural, but very, very pleasant.
You know, people are concerned. They wonder, I got my teeth. Do I really want to put caps on?
Exactly. Yeah, they think they'll have that Hollywood look or fake look, but the technology that we have available and the artistry that we can create now really makes things so natural that most people, in fact, most dentists are just surprised that we can create what we can create nowadays. Everyone is different. Everyone has different facial dimensions, different bone structure, and we do everything we can to individualize treatment because there is no one perfect smile. It is your perfect smile.
Dr. Houghton, where can people find you?
So you can find us at perfectsmiles.com or call 844-A-PERFECT-SMILE, 844-A-PERFECT-SMILE.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
Is Kennedy Babylon 2 your last book?
No, if I think of another topic for a book I want to write, I'll go for it. But I think it's the last of my Kennedy Babylon series. I made Kennedy Babylon 2 kind of long because I wanted to get everything in there. Now there's other stuff I could write about, but I'm Kennedy now.
Since having the sleeve operation, do you miss not eating big meals?
No, I don't. I can still eat what I used to eat. I just can't eat as much. I'm now very surprised how much I used to eat. I'm surprised at how much people I eat with consume. It's just hard to believe that I used to eat that much, but no, it's not a problem.
How is Mr. Gooner since Pearl's passing?
Mr. Gooner is drowning his sorrows in food.
What is the most trouble you ever got into as a kid?
My father was giving me grief one time up at Moosehead Lake in Maine, and I threw a rock at him. He didn't much like that.
This is Lynn in sunny Las Vegas.
This is Dan from the moonbat capital of Jamaica Plain.
This is Gigi in Leominster, Massachusetts, and this is the Howie Carr Show.
844-500-4242. The stock market closed down today 10%. 10% is a correction. That turns it into a bear market. It's down 10% just in one day, 2,352 points. And it's a bad time for equities. That's just the Dow Jones Industrial Average. All of them, all the markets were way down. And so we've been telling you for years, you don't want to get caught flat-footed with all your money in the stock market. You need to be diversified. We all know what goes up must come down. And again, what goes down will go up. But you don't want to have all your eggs in one basket. And so we've been suggesting that you go with Orion Metal Exchange if you need to get into something that's not going to give you sleepless nights every night. And you're not going to be watching that little ticker at the bottom of your cable news screen in the corner. Joining us now on the line is Jason Blaylock from Orion Metal Exchange. Jason, what's your recommendation? I mean, obviously you want them to get precious metals, but why precious metals now in this time of turmoil in the stock market?
You always want to be properly diversified, and precious metals is a key part of a properly diversified portfolio. No American investor should be expected to know the future, and being properly diversified simply gives you peace of mind and gives you financial stability moving forward.
Right. And it's you need everything. You need bonds, you need stocks, you need real estate, you need everything. But gold and silver is part of the package, isn't it?
That's right. And you need all the key components, right? And in a market like this, we really don't know what's going on, right? I mean, no one can tell you what's going to happen tomorrow. So with that being said, you want to make sure that you protect yourself. We've got a lot of geoeconomic uncertainty out of there, a lot of things going on that will create volatility in the marketplace. So you'll sleep better at night if you're properly diversified in precious metals, gold, silver, platinum. They're key parts and key ingredients to a secure and balanced portfolio.
Okay, and where can people go if they want to get some more information about gold and silver?
I would direct them to OrionMetalExchange.com. We've got a lot of good information there. We have charts. We have live pricing on products that we offer. And most importantly, the phone number is there to reach out, and we're happy to answer any questions they might have. OrionMetalExchange.com. We're here to help.
And no obligations. Just go to Orion Metal Exchange, read up on gold and silver and platinum. And again, it's important to be diversified in any facet of life, but especially in your real estate in your portfolio of investments. You've got to be in everything. You got to have, and this is the time when you want to be diversified. You don't want to be. These people are gonna have problems sleeping, and you're frustrated, I think, because this doesn't seem to be a real terrible real problem, but it's still crashing the market.
20 seconds.
So you have to try to protect yourself. Again, what's the address? What's the web address, Justin?
Again, OrionMetalExchange.com.
OrionMetalExchange.com. OrionMetalExchange.com. Thank you. I'm Howie Carr. Let me tell you about a new sponsor to the Howie Carr Show, Helping Hands of America. For over 2 decades, Helping Hands has made donating your car, truck, or boat to a New England charity incredibly easy. I've donated, and you should too. It takes one call. The pickup is not only fast, but it's free, and your donation is 100% tax deductible. Call Helping Hands at 888-881-9090. That's 888-881-9090. Or visit helpinghandsofamerica.org. Restrictions may apply.
Hey guys, it's Grace. Howie is always giving me great advice. Never speak when you can nod. Always get the deposit money on empty cans. But the best advice he ever gave me was to call the car guys to get my first used car. I had tried to go to dealerships in the past, but just ended up feeling intimidated. But Bill Papa George from the car guys was the perfect solution. He got me the greatest car at the greatest price. Call the car guys today at 800-300-4600. I promise you won't be disappointed. That's 800-300-4600. Tell them Grace sent you.
The Democrat Party is so full of loonies, social justice warriors, progressives, whatever you want to call them, that sometimes certain moonbats get overlooked. So let's take this moment to shine the woke spotlight on Crazy Maisie Hirono.
I am not going to be a fool to Mitch McConnell's shenanigans. Why should any of us? And it's not just a dog whistle, it's a bullhorn. Bullhorns. It's racism. It's basically, for many people, it's anti-Semitic. It's white supremacy.
Why not take a stand and vote yes for it? Seems like you're trying to have it both ways, not be hung by it politically, but also not say that you don't support it.
I disagree with you, Katie, that why should we engage in the kind of sham shenanigans that Mitch McConnell is really good at? I'm confused. This was just a sham. Guess who's perpetuating all of these kinds of actions? It's the men in this country. And I just want to say to the men in this country, just shut up and step up. I think the noose is closing, and, Giuliani is like a loose cannon, and so is the president, frankly.
The Subaru of New England, Washington's birthday sales event lasts all month long. Feel the freedom in the all-new, all-wheel drive 2020 Subaru Outback with standard LED headlights, starting at only $26,645 with 0.9% financing for up to 48 months. Or lease for only $249 per month for 36 months with $24.49 due at signing. Details at SubaruofNewEngland.com.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
Did you have any pets when you were younger?
I had a cat named Dexter. That was my first pet. And then I had possession of two poodles when I lived in Palm Beach, Princess and Frisky. They weren't really my dogs, but I took care of them. They lived with me. So they were my dogs. I love those poodles.
When you were a kid, what was the best gift you ever received?
I got this wooden fort from FAO Schwartz in Palm Beach, about the age of 6 or 7, 10 soldiers to go along with it. Such a cool fort. I had that fort for like maybe close to 10 years.
What is your all-time favorite movie?
Probably Goodfellas. I love Goodfellas. I love it even more than The Godfather.
What is your favorite dessert?
Oh, that's a tough one. Probably chocolate ice cream, followed by vanilla ice cream, followed by coffee ice cream.
Joe Biden doesn't have time for malarkey, and he also doesn't have a lot of time for geography. Take a listen.
The people of Nevada are watching, and I'm going to be out there seeing them very soon. Tonight, though, we just heard from the first 2 of 50 states. It's important that Iowa and Nevada have spoken, but look, we need to hear from Nevada and South Carolina and Super Tuesday states and beyond.
And Biden doesn't know the difference between Iran and Iraq. He's gotten it wrong 4 times.
We tried it in Iraq. It's not working, so now we're going to try, in Iran. We tried in Ukraine.
He always gets the name wrong.
I love this place. Look, what's not to like about Vermont in terms of the beauty of it? And what a neat town. This is sort of a scenic, beautiful town. I like Keene a lot.
How many times has he missed it? He's in Iowa. It's great to be in the great state of Ohio. And they say, Joe, you're in Iowa.
How many unsafe bridges you still have here in the state of Iowa? And I was just in Ohio because they have more.
That's Diamond Dogs by David Bowie. Did I read today that you cannot get coronavirus if you're a dog?
Yes, you did.
Good news for Diamond Dogs.
Oh,
we weren't on.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
844-500-4242. That's the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. We're going to take a lot of calls in this segment. But first, we have to do the poll question. The poll question is brought to you by Roman. Talking about erectile dysfunction isn't easy, but with Roman now it can be. With Roman, you can get a free online evaluation and ongoing care for erectile dysfunction, all from the comfort and privacy of your own home. No awkward visits to the physician or the pharmacy. Go to getroman.com/Howie to get a free online visit and free 2-day shipping. Taylor, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Which will you miss more? Hockey, professional basketball, professional baseball, collegiate basketball tournaments, or you won't miss any of them?
I'm going to miss college hoop, even though the Tar Heels would be out anyway, even if the season wasn't over.
But now you have the distinct honor of saying they were the last to lose in the tournament.
I don't think that's an
biggest
honor.
losers.
I think I think that's just, I don't know if it's a stain exactly, but I don't think it's an honor. Okay, so I vote for hoop, college hoop.
61% say they're not going to miss any of them. 11% say they will miss college hoops. 8% for baseball. 2% for pro basketball. 18% say they'll miss hockey the most.
The bees. Charlie Coyle, Pasternak. These are the people want to see.
You know, a texter brought up an interesting point. You know, ESPN is the most expensive cable network. It adds like, I don't know, $5-6 to your cable bill every month, as opposed to most of them are like 50, or they cost the cable companies 50 cents. Sometimes cable companies actually pay, networks pay to be on the cable companies, but ESPN, because they got heavy expenses with all the buying the rights. Now, are we going to get a discount, all of us cable subscribers, do you think? I know that's a rhetorical question, but shouldn't we get a discount?
Don't hold your breath, bro.
Again, I think ESPN costs like 20% of your cable bill in some cases. And you know, that's one reason why they've so resisted the cable companies going to an a la carte menu where you could pick your channels, because then most people would end up with a package that would cost them $7-8 a month instead of $40-50 even more than that. So that's just my thought.
Are you going to tell people about the good news about the dogs?
Yes, dogs cannot get coronavirus. You hear that, Mr. Gooner?
And so, Howie, they had all these dogs in testing.
Yeah.
And then when they found out they couldn't get coronavirus, you know what happened?
What?
Who let the dogs out?
A beautiful dog. A talented dog.
Wait, I thought a dog in China came down with the coronavirus.
That was some fuzzy math.
That was some very fake news.
There's been a new test. But here's a story that I thought was connected to coronavirus, but it was not. This is from Connecticut. A Connecticut woman sparked a fatal apartment fire by igniting a bottle of hand sanitizer and chucking it at her girlfriend, a report said. See, I thought this was some homemade sanitizer because there are all these terrible shortages because everybody is panicked about coronavirus. But it turns out that this is just a regular bottle of home sanitizer. I did not know you could turn it into a Molotov cocktail. But Destiny Waite knew that, age 28. She set the bottle on fire Sunday morning while arguing with her girlfriend. She's a woman with a girlfriend at the apartment building in Hartford. Was Bill from West Hartford? Was he injured in this blaze, this conflagration? The flames spread to upper floors of the building, and firefighters responded and rescued a number of people from the flames. 4 people were critically injured in the building. And in a secondary search of the building, firefighters found the charred body of 50-year-old Jerome Kaiser inside. How many more must die, Mr. Speaker, before we have a 7-day waiting period for this hand sanitizer?
That's the thing, though, is that there wasn't this big problem with hand sanitizer before Corona because no one was really using it. And now I read a story the other day, Howie, about some guy at 7-Eleven who made homemade hand sanitizer and sold it to a woman, and it burned her children's skin. And all I'm going to say about that is when you have to choose between homemade hand sanitizer and not using any, don't use any.
I learned that as a young man in North Carolina. They said, never buy Shine, Howie. Even if it's a lot cheaper, you don't know what still that shine came out of. Same with the hand sanitizer all these years later, Grace.
So true.
Did you see, by the way, speaking of shine, in Iran now they've got a new problem other than the coronavirus. People are trying to drink alcohol because they think it will somehow cleanse their bodies of the coronavirus. So they it's a Muslim country, a serious Muslim country, unlike Ilhan Omar with her boyfriend, who's now her husband. So you can't buy alcohol legally in Iran. So they're drinking shine. And so far, I think over 40 people have died or have gotten blinded from drinking wood alcohol. So it's a problem.
I'm going to head to the bars after the show and get my prescription filled.
I mean, it does make sense that if
make
you
sure
drink,
you get the hand sanitizer on the rocks.
like if you drink like a really strong whiskey or something. Didn't they used to give kids some sort of alcohol when they had sore throats? They give them like scotch or something, and it like helps your throat. It does make sense that it could be a little medicinal because it's so strong. It's
I thought you were from Milton, not Hyannisport. That's a Kennedy remedy.
No, there's definitely something. It's scotch or something like that. It helps sore throats.
Mitch, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Mitch.
Hi, Howie.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Hey, listen, I got a great idea. I was thinking about this. If they're closing down all the large gatherings,
yes,
I thought President Trump could probably do a pay-per-view rally, and I bet he would pull in millions.
Would you like to see him go head-to-head with Joe Biden in a pay-per-view rally? My money would be on Donald Trump.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just think that even he could do it from his home office, and that would be it. I think it would be a great idea.
Maybe instead of having like Donald Trump Jr. and Corey Lewandowski warm up the crowd, they could have a wrestling match beforehand. Like an undercard, right?
Marine Corps band in there.
I don't know if the Marine Corps band would be available for a political event, but how about just some wrestling? Vince McMahon could get him some wrestlers. They're good Connecticut Republicans, aren't they? The McMahons. Thanks for the call. That's a good suggestion, Mitch. Keith, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Keith.
Hi, Howie. I think I have an original thought. What are the millions of people going to do if the taverns, pubs, and restaurants start closing? I mean, people do that every day.
Those will be the last places to close. And as long as the package stores don't close, I mean, you're okay, aren't you, basically?
No, I want to go out, man. I'm be trapped in the house.
Amen, brother.
Are you worried about? Can you walk to the place to your favorite tap room, Keith?
Pretty much. But
it's walking home that's the trouble, Howie.
Social. If everything's social, events are closing, then there'll be an obvious target for these hysterical people, right?
Yeah.
Don't you think the hysteria though is localized, that not every part of the United States is really hysterical about this outburst? The mailroom manager last night went out to a place. Grace and I were working, but the mailroom manager went out to this place in West Palm Beach, and it's a popular restaurant. The place was jammed. You know who she saw at the bar, Keith? James Patterson.
Wow.
He wasn't scared. He wasn't worried about coming down with the virus. He was pounding them down at the bar.
Keith, as someone who loves to go to restaurants and loves a good cocktail and a night out with my friends, I feel you on this, because first they came for our basketball games and I said nothing. But when they come for my restaurants and my Friday nights, then it goes too far.
R.I.P. Whiskey Priest.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. First they came for the Whiskey Priest, and Grace, you didn't say anything, and now the Whiskey Priest is gone. Then they came for the No Name, and now the No Name is gone.
The No Name. Okay, first of all, I think I said too much about the Whiskey Priest because people now think I have a problem. So I think I spoke my piece about that. I'm just saying, there's a lot of things that people are going to stop doing. But if you think I'm not going to go out to eat and get my appetizers and my, happy hour stuff, you're crazy.
Thanks for the call, Keith. Maureen, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Maureen.
How you doing, Howie?
Good.
Hi, Grace. I'm calling because I know it was a hot toddy that you were talking about. My dad gave me one when I had a cold and I was 8 years old. I slept from that afternoon to the next morning. It's whiskey. It's whiskey, honey, and boiling water is the way. And 2 ounces of whiskey. It's a lot of whiskey.
Wow.
I don't think he gave me the 2 ounces, but it was my first time. I didn't even know what I was drinking. And but he said, "Here, this will make you feel better." And I basically didn't feel anything till the next morning.
Yeah, no, there's another texter from Lewiston, Maine said hot toddies. He says the same thing, that's what they call them, hot toddies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for the call, Maureen. 844-500-4242. Mike, the Lyft driver, they're canceling the baseball season, basketball, hockey. When are they going to cancel taxes?
Yeah.
Well, wasn't it Ben Franklin, Mike Lyft, the Lyft driver, who said the only two things certain in life are death and taxes. And even if coronavirus doesn't really kill you, the taxes will, especially here in Massachusetts.
Taylor, you're a Curb guy, right? You watch Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Yeah.
Remember the episode where Larry's mother dies and he starts using it to get out of everything in his life?
Yeah, because his father didn't tell him.
Yeah, she says, the dad says her last words were, "Don't bother Larry." But he starts using it all the time. He starts saying, "Oh, sorry, I can't go to that. You know, my parent passed away," and blah, blah. This is what coronavirus is becoming. That was the first thing I thought of with the Hunter Biden thing. Like jury duty, appointments, all these things that people don't want to do. They're going to start saying, if you're Joe Biden, in his case, it's speaking in public. Oh, I can't because of coronavirus. It's becoming a Curb episode.
Nobody's buying it, though. Nobody thinks that Joe Biden. We have the cut. Actually, he's going to create virtual rallies. Virtual rallies. They're going to show video of him in 1972. That's going to be the virtual rally, I guess. He's going to reimagine it. Here, play cut 43. Here.
Reimagining the format for large crowd events we had planned in Chicago and Miami in the coming days. And it will continue to assess and adjust how we conduct our campaign as we move forward and find new ways to share our message with the public while putting health and safety of the American people first, above everything else.
He's going to reimagine his rallies. That means he's going to hallucinate his rallies. Bill from West Hartford, you're next with Howie Carr.
Yes, Howie, I'm not going to be able to go to my hookers downtown Hartford because all of them are infected with the coronavirus now. What am I going to do? I'm out of my pills. I have no money. I have no nothing.
Bill, keep away from the bootleg hand sanitizer, too. There's already been one fatality down in Hartford.
A bootleg hand sanitizer?
You can strain it through the Wonder Bread if you get desperate. Haven't you heard of that? Haven't you drunk Sterno at one time or another? Come on. What kind of wino are you, Bill?
Well, I may have heard of it, but I really need my sex. I need my sex with the hookers,
Goodbye, Bill. March isn't even half over, and he's already he's already exhausted his EBT card. It's very sad.
Yeah, you should have been stockpiling, Bill. That's the one thing you're supposed to do during this, is stockpile.
I'm Howie Carr.
You're tuned into the Howie Carr Radio Network.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you in part by Nauset Beach Inn. Go to nausetbeachinn.com and click on special offers. Use promo code CAPE for the $100 room special. I'm here with Dr. Bruce Houghton from Perfect Smiles in Nashua, New Hampshire. You get a lot of patients, I'm sure, who are apprehensive about veneers. What are some of the questions and fears you get when you're dealing with new patients?
Some people think they could look too fake, but true cosmetic dentistry is incredibly detail-oriented. So we put a lot of time and effort into individualizing how the smile looks, and we really make them look natural, but very, very pleasant.
People are concerned. They wonder, I got my teeth. Do I really want to put caps on?
Exactly. Yeah, they think they'll have that Hollywood look or fake look, but the technology that we have available and the artistry that we can create now really makes things so natural that most people, in fact, most dentists are just surprised that we can create what we can create nowadays. Everyone is different. Everyone has different facial dimensions, different bone structure, and we do everything we can to individualize treatment because there is no one perfect smile. It is your perfect smile.
Dr. Houghton, where can people find you?
So you can find us at perfectsmiles.com or call 844-A-PERFECT-SMILE, 844-A-PERFECT-SMILE.
He's New England's talk radio king. He's Howie Carr.
The only French term I like is sans culotte, without trousers. I used to describe Ted Kennedy as sans culotte. because after the Bar incident, when he was wandering around down on the beach, with his 20th Scotch tumbler of the day in his hand, stumbling around with he was just there, as the Michelle Cassone Patches date said. He was just there, without trousers, or as we say in Paris, sans culotte.
We've seen nothing that we can work, that I can work with President Bush on, and I'm disappointed because I thought that there might be some interest because of what he said in the campaign.
President Bush, this is your brain. This is your brain on Botox, okay? That's the lesson of that one. Here's how it works with my retirement accounts, and I'll bet yours too. If your 401k, your SEP, your IRA, whatever is going up, you probably don't think very much about it, right? But if it's going down, well, there's nothing much else you can think of. So for the last couple of years, none of us have been worrying much about those quarterly statements. But lately, it's gotten a little worrisome. It's not that bad, not yet anyway, but what goes up must come down. Now is the time to start thinking about adjusting your investments. Gold and silver have always been a hedge against stock market volatility. Uncertainty about the future has traditionally meant rising prices for precious metals. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company I trust. Give Orion a call to get a free, no-obligation investment guide about protecting your future with an enduring investment in gold and silver. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including peace of mind, by calling Orion Metal Exchange now. Call them today at 800-912-2300. And with Orion, you'll get more metal for your money. Call 800-912-2300. That's 800-912-2300.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
So now you've broken your elbow. Have you ever broken any other bones?
When I was 8 years old, I broke my leg. I was playing touch football in Portland, and a big kid, a 15-year-old, tackled me. When I was in my 30s, I was going down the stairs, and one of the kids' toys was on the stairs, and I tripped on it and broke my foot. I lost a tooth playing touch football when I was just out of Deerfield. I got smacked in the jaw. My tooth went up, and I still have a bridge, a crown from that mishap. I have a replacement hip, and now I have a bunch of pins in my left elbow.
When do you plan to retire?
I don't plan on retiring. As an old football coach once said, once you retire, there's only one big moment left. You know what that is.
This is Jay in Hingham, Massachusetts.
This is Gloria from Haverhill, Mass.
Hi, this is Joe from Howie in the Hills, Florida, and this is the Howie Carr Show.
917 says, isn't it a bit curious that we haven't heard from Adam Schiff or Jerry Nadler or Maxine Waters for a couple of weeks now? You know, they were supposed to have a hearing at, I think, on Nadler's committee, Judiciary, about the FISA courts reauthorization. But of course, you know, these are guys who used to be really heavily into the American Civil Liberties Union and protecting Americans' rights from invasive government interference. But then when they realized that the Hillary Clinton campaign and the Obama administration used intrusive government interference and lawless third world banana republic tactics against Republicans, suddenly they didn't have a problem with it. So all the hearings on the FISA reauthorization were canceled, and it was just railroaded through, I think, last night. But I think it's going to be stopped in the Senate, and President Trump has said or has indicated that he's going to take the advice of Senators Lee and Rand Paul and veto it until they get some protections. FISA should not be used against American citizens. It's ridiculous. There's no way that the FISA court should be used to target American political operatives or any other Americans for that matter. It's supposed to be the foreign intelligence, it's not the RISA court, the Republican Intelligence Surveillance Act. It's the foreign intelligence. 844-500-4242. Derek, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Derek.
Howdy. You mentioned
the civil liberties unit, I just wanted to have a cool question. Do you by chance know where gun control started and why it was started as a movement in our country?
No, tell me who started it.
It was started in the 1870s in Mississippi, where there was a law put in place.
I got you. It's the you're saying it's the Ku Klux Klan. It was to take away the arms from the freed black slaves. Correct?
I dropped him.
Okay. Thanks for the call, Dave. You're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Dave.
Hey, Howie, with all this talk about hand sanitizer and drinking, I thought we got to renew that PSA that Tito's vodka does not work as a hand sanitizer, you know? The proof is too low.
Exclusive, higher proof vodka for just a little while for the hand sanitizer stuff. Not for drinks, but for the hand sanitizer.
151 proof wild turkey is a pretty expensive brown water, isn't it, Dave? I mean, wouldn't you be better off getting some Purell if it's available on the shelves?
Oh, no, that's high up on the list of things you have in case of emergency, man. You know? Really?
151 proof wild turkey. 844-500-4242. We'll be back for our final big hour on this Thursday bear market version of the Howie Carr Show. I'm Howie Carr. If you're like me and everyone else I know, you love free stuff. That's why I'm so excited to tell you that ButcherBox is offering the best free thing ever. Meat. For a limited time, ButcherBox is throwing in 2 pounds of delicious, grass-fed, organic, free-range, hormone-free ground beef in every box for the life of your subscription when you sign up today. In addition to their ground beef, all the meat you get from ButcherBox is humanely raised the way it's meant to be, with no added hormones or antibiotics ever. From chicken, pork, and steak to seafood like salmon scallops, ButcherBox has more than 20 different cuts of meats to choose from. And their website is loaded with awesome recipes that the whole family will love. Sign up for ButcherBox today, and for a limited time, get free ground beef for the life of your subscription, plus $20 off your first box at butcherbox.com/Howie. That's butcherbox.com/Howie. butcherbox.com/Howie.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
We went to the White House for the Christmas party. In your opinion, what was the highlight?
The highlight of my trip to the White House with Grace, there were two. Number one, when we walked into Trump International Hotel, which she'd been dreaming of going to, and her eyes were wide. And then when the president actually came down the stairs, her eyes were even wider. She was so in awe being there. I really felt like King Farouk, you know? I felt like I was giving someone a really great gift that they couldn't get otherwise.
You've had some really good interviews over the years. Which one was your favorite?
I can't really say what the best interview I ever had, but one that just occurred to me was Jesse Helms, the senator from North Carolina. I interviewed him one time, and he went to high school with my mother in Monroe, North Carolina. And the first words out of his mouth were, "Howie, I know your mother before you knew your mother." The Moonbats always say Donald Trump isn't very bright. But what about Barack Hussein Obama? Let's listen to some of his greatest hits.
I've now been in 57 states. I think one left to go. I don't know what the term is in Austrian. The Cambridge police acted stupidly. And there has never been any man or woman more qualified for this office than Hillary Clinton. There are neighborhoods around the country where it is easier for a 12 or 13-year-old to purchase a gun and cheaper than it is for them to get a book. I believe in the Second Amendment. It's there written on the paper. If we fall for, a bunch of okey doke. A few months ago, when you were asked what's the biggest geopolitical threat facing America, you said Russia, not Al Qaeda. You said Russia. In the 1980s are now calling to ask for their foreign policy back.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
I'm here with Dr. Bruce Houghton from Perfect Smiles in Nashua, New Hampshire. Dr. Houghton, tell us about the state-of-the-art procedures that can help many people look 10 to 15 years younger.
As we age, we do lose these proper proportions to our faces. And so if you're deficient in your chin or mid-face, we can create the proper proportions and make you look great. Sometimes we use orthodontics to change the look of the face. Sometimes we just use the teeth themselves, and it creates the right support for a beautiful face. They're all non-surgical procedures.
There's some pretty complex cases that you deal with. Give me an example of a tough case.
Well, some cases, people just are missing a lot of teeth. I get a lot of people that come in and think that I cannot solve their problems because they're too great, but I really can. We've been doing this for over 35 years, and there isn't much that we haven't seen.
So even if you're missing a few teeth, or your teeth are discolored, or you're very embarrassed, there's no reason not to come in for a consultation, right?
Absolutely. New techniques, new technology, things are available to us that we never had before, and we can handle just about everything.
Where can people find you?
So you can find us at perfectsmiles.com or call 844-A-PERFECT-SMILE.
He's the gaff that keeps on giving. Here's 1 minute of former Vice President Joe Biden.
You teachers who touch them, figuratively speaking, well, I hope you touch them and tell them how much you love them too. But my point is, when you touch their hearts. I get in trouble with some of the things I say, but I want to tell you, just be straight up. If I'm your president, with me, it starts here in my gut, goes to my heart, and then I articulate it.
And by the way, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. 1.2 billion. So you go ahead and you stack spaghetti sauce at a store in a supermarket. You control the guy or the woman who brings out the carts on a forklift. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap, and I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
If you could go back in time and give your younger self advice, what would you say?
Get a state job, because behind the job comes the pension.
What's the best advice anyone's ever given you?
Most advice is pretty forgettable.
What's the best money you've ever spent?
The investment I made to leave the corporate radio prison I was in, the worst people I ever worked for, no doubt about it. I'd probably be dead if I were still working for them.
If you were on a deserted island and you could only bring 3 things, what would you bring?
A radio, a Wi-Fi system, obviously, and a computer, and I would bring some books. Don't ask me which books, too hard a question.
What was your dad's job when you were growing up?
My dad worked as a resort hotel manager. He worked in Florida at the Breakers in the winter, and then he worked at the Mountain View House, as it was called then, in Whitefield, New Hampshire, and various other places.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Mike Bloomberg is spending millions of dollars on all of his campaign ads, but we put together some of our favorite Bloomberg clips, and guess what, Mike? This one's totally free.
I think we disproportionately stop whites too much and minorities too little. To be a farmer, it's a process. You dig a hole, you put a seed in, you put dirt on top, add water, up comes the corn. Then we had 300, you could learn that.
Donald Trump is the world's biggest schoolyard bully.
Big gay ice cream is the best.
The Communist Party wants to stay in power in China, and they listen to the public. When the public says, I can't breathe the air, Xi Jinping is not a dictator. He has to satisfy his constituents, or he's not going to survive.
He's not a dictator?
No, he has a constituency to answer to.
I'm ready to get to work, so let's get it on.
I would be 79 years old when I took office. To start a 4-year job, maybe an 8-year job at age 79 may not be the smartest thing to do.
Why did you say what you said in that 2015 speech?
John, what happened at Perfect Smiles when you went?
The initial consultation was easy. In the past, they just hand me a clipboard to fill out the forms, but that's not how it worked at Perfect Smiles. What was nice was it was a true consultation. They asked me my medical history or what I wanted to get out of the treatment plan. For me, I lived with TMJ. I'd literally have to crack my jaw throughout the day to relieve the pressure. I'd get headaches throughout the day. I'd be in pain. When I was at Perfect Smiles, they asked me what I wanted to get out of the treatment. As a joke, I just said, geez, I'd love you to be able to fix my TMJ. And I was surprised because Dr. Houghton specializes in working with patients like me that have TMJ.
What were the results of visiting Dr. Houghton at Perfect Smiles?
Not only did I walk out of that office with a perfect smile, but he fixed my TMJ. It was a life-changing event. People tell me now that my smile is amazing. People would say, geez, John, your teeth look so great. I never realized my teeth looked so bad before. Now I take a look at the before and after pictures and I'm amazed.
Go to Perfect Smiles in Nashua, New Hampshire, or visit their website, perfectsmiles.com.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
How did you come up with the name VB?
My first producer and I both had steady girlfriends, or we were married or whatever. And BB was always saying that we were whipped. You know what I mean? Finally, I said, you don't even have a girlfriend. I've never seen you with a female. As a matter of fact, I don't think you have ever had sex. You are just a virgin boy.
What is your biggest fear?
That Donald Trump will not be reelected in 2020 and that some horrible Democrat will come in and finish.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
From the beginning of time, nations and people have faced unforeseen challenges, including large-scale and very dangerous health threats. This is the way it always was and always will be. The vast majority of Americans, the risk is very, very low.
The guy's an actor. He's reading a script. When they tell you not to panic, that's when you run.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
The NCAA announced that its upcoming championship events will take place without fans.
And tonight, the NBA suspending its season following the games tonight as a player tests positive.
This is crazy. This can't be true. I mean, it's not within the realm of possibilities. It seems more like out of a movie than reality.
You could be more right than you know.
Houston, we have a problem.
Actor Tom Hanks posted on social media that he and his wife, Rita Wilson, have tested positive for the virus.
You never know what you're going to get.
Who's your captain? Howie Carr.
The president referred to the coronavirus as a, quote, foreign virus. It's going to come across to a lot of Americans as smacking of xenophobia.
Okay. The Wuhan coronavirus.
The first U.S. case of Chinese coronavirus.
The world's first lab-grown copy of the Wuhan coronavirus.
The Chinese coronavirus.
The death toll from the Wuhan coronavirus.
I can keep going.
Unchained and unstoppable.
We must put politics aside, stop the partisanship, and unify together as one nation and one family.
Can I finish now?
No, you can't, John. John, he's the president. Even if someone else wrote it, it should be
I know
right.
he did, and he has to be Don.
This is CNN. Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
Did you know that AOC is going to be on Fox tonight, this hour, with Brett Baer? She knows a lot about coronavirus, though, because she served a lot of Coronas at the Enchilada Emporium back before she got into the business of being a statesman or a stateswoman.
That's when people were patroning her bar, right?
That's right. She's going to make a pitch to get out, drive to your local restaurants, Chinese or otherwise, and patron them. That's what she said yesterday. People aren't patroning these restaurants, and it's racist. That's Michelle.
It's legitimately racist.
Excuse me. I was going to say
straight up. It's straight up racist.
Even Michelle Wu isn't saying that. The Boston City Councilor, she and Eddie Flynn, who represents Chinatown in South Boston and on the Boston City Council, they just said, please come back to Tyler Street. Come back to Chinatown, and here we're going to have a dim sum free breakfast for everybody. They didn't say it was racism not to go.
And I do feel for Chinatown big time. It's sad. I feel for all small businesses or businesses of any kind. It stinks. It definitely stinks.
It is. It's bad. But anyway, before we go back to the phone lines, I have to tell you, a lot of people are kind of lost. Sports fans, they're the jock sniffers on the radio. All they have to talk about now in Chillville is Tom Brady. What are you laughing at, Grace?
Throwing shade, Howie.
There is no joy in Chillville. There is no baseball. There is no basketball, pro or college. There's no hockey. At least we'll have the bean pot to always remember in sports world. But there is something to watch on TV tonight. Go to Hulu and you can watch Hillary.
Are you trying to make people miserable today? That is such a mean thing to suggest, given the length of the documentary.
It's only 253 minutes. It makes a couple of reviews here. Boy, does it sound like a screen gem, as they say. The tone is set in the beginning when Clinton is asked from off camera, do you feel frustrated that you've been in public life for 30 years, yet people feel that they don't know who you are, that you seem inauthentic? To which she replies, I do. I feel like what is this about? She seems perpetually amazed that people believe this myth that she's cold and calculating. Shown in the 253 minutes is a clip of the 1992 60 Minutes interview. That was at the Ritz-Carlton in Boston when the light fell over on Bill's head, in which the Clintons fiercely denied that there was an arrangement, quote unquote. It has looked like an arrangement ever since then. Most people do not buy that Hillary never figured out that Bill had been cheating on her. The documentary is stuffed with adoring campaign aides and supportive mainstream reporters, especially New York Times correspondent Amy Chozick, who sounds exactly like one of the campaign staffers.
You're my kind of woman, Amy.
That was, and then to which she responded, Andrea Mitchell, she said, Andrea, you're my favorite reporter. Every Clinton scandal is dismissed. 253 minutes and they're all dismissed. They don't even mention some of them. Whitewater was ridiculous. Filegate, the 1994 press conference she put up to explain it. Benghazi, nothing there. There was no time for the Clinton Foundation or Uranium One. Her private email service, why bother? Paula Jones was a story, quote, nobody wanted to touch, unquote. It was icky. That's a quote too. Juanita Broderick's allegations of rape against Bill Clinton, remember, put some ice on it. Never mentioned. Nothing to see here, folks. Move along. A picture of then candidate Donald Trump's press conference with Jones, Broderick, and Kathleen Willey in 2016 was shown, but their names are not mentioned. It's simply referenced as Trump pulled his stunt. At the end of 4 hours of whining and victimhood, Hillary Clinton's last words are, I have no regrets. Interviews. So there was even more venting than what's been unloaded here. Could we have Hillary Clinton, the sequel on Hulu? If the coronavirus, quarantines continue, we'll need another one.
What difference at this point does it make?
Why this epic rehash? Let's guess that Clinton thinks she should be running for re-election right now and wants all eyes back on her. I'd rather watch the empty studio at ESPN. Just like her nemesis, former President Nixon, she's always seeking to rehabilitate her image. Just like Nixon, she never will. But wait, there's more. Here's some more.
On.
Excuse me?
AOC is on.
AOC is on. Let's take a little bit of AOC on Fox News Channel.
Disagree with the appointment of Vice President Pence. I have made that extraordinarily clear.
Extraordinary.
But at the end of the day, he's there. So we need to focus on the actions that need to be happening right now. And the actions that need to be happening is making sure that we're taking care of people who are going to be hurting as a result of this. Again, this is a public health crisis, but it's also an economic crisis. And on the public health front, we have a lot of people who are older and who are immunocompromised in this country. And the coronavirus has been testified from the CDC director as 10 times more lethal than the flu.
Sure. And then people point to the H1N1 virus, and it killed a lot of people in the U.S. And there is a wonder whether, where the perfect response is, whether we go too far, whether we don't go far enough. You're saying we should just not worry about that now.
I think we shouldn't worry about it right now. In fact, one thing that I will agree with is that we should not be panicking, but we should be preparing. And if we are at a standstill here in Washington and we aren't getting these things passed and we aren't willing to compromise and negotiate for folks who are going to be unemployed and folks who need these helps in hospitals, folks who are on Medicaid, then there are going
folks
to
who
be
need
people
abortions
who will get hurt by this. So we need to take action right now. We have to depoliticize it. Right now, we're hearing that some of the fights and some of the gridlock is because people are trying to put pro-life provisions into this.
Wait. She's trying to put, Nancy Pelosi is trying to do an end run around the Hyde Amendment, which prohibits using federal funds for abortion. They tried to sneak that in to the coronavirus bill. The abortion providers. That's the problem here. Go back to her.
To witness his kind of swift fall from frontrunner status. He's almost a protest candidate now. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I think one of the things that we saw with Bernie Sanders' leadership, even today, is how transformative it is for the American people. Just today, he laid out a very strong plan and response for the coronavirus for everyday people, for Main Street, not just Wall Street. He's talking about how do we make sure that everyone who needs access to Medicare can get it and that Medicare is improved and expanded. How do we make sure that people aren't getting booted out of their homes, whether it's not being able to afford their mortgage payment this month or not being able to afford their rent payment.
Can we have a list of people who've been evicted because they couldn't pay their mortgage payments, AOC? Would that be possible to come up with a list of the victims? Go ahead.
I think there's going to be a real vigorous debate on, I believe, Sunday night, if I'm not mistaken. And part of that process means that I think we will come together. And, I think Bernie Sanders has done a great job and is continuing to do a great job of pushing to make sure that we have a party agenda that fights for working people.
Last thing, you did a campaign event at the University of Michigan. You had 10,000 people. It was like a rock star status. But those kids did not show up, at least if you look at the numbers. I mean, just overall.
They were having a party after the Michigan canceled all the classes. They couldn't get out to vote because they were at a keg party at the Omani Padma house.
Well, I think one thing that isn't being talked about is the rampant voter suppression in this country.
Oh, right.
Right there in Ann Arbor, where
Right, that's enough. Voter suppression. The coronavirus has been testified. She has been extraordinarily clear. Bernie Sanders is a transformative candidate when he said that the coronavirus is going to kill more people than World War II. Death toll, 400,000 Americans. That's what she wants the folks to know on Fox. That's our update. You've been hearing me talk about super beets for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why super beets? You can take it from me. The benefits of super beets are incredible. You're worried about coronavirus, have some super beets. It'll make you feel a lot better. It will clarify your thinking. It's good for your circulation.
It also tastes really good too. It tastes like a pixie stick.
That's right. Have some before you have your first cup of coffee in the morning. When you get a little tired in the afternoon after lunch and you're starting to slow down, have another little bit of super beets. You'll feel a lot better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind super beets. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow. Better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body and even supports healthy blood pressure. But super beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just one scoop of super beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. And given the science team behind super beets has conducted 11 clinical trials and was even given the science award by the Nutrition Business Journal. This level of research is unheard of in the nutrition category. These are the reasons why I love super beets and why they've worked for me and for Grace. To try super beets risk-free for 90 days, visit www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie and get a free 30-day supply, free shipping, and free nitric oxide strips to test your nitric oxide levels with your first purchase. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie, www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. I'm Howie Carr.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Radio Network.
This half hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you in part by Roman. Talking about erectile dysfunction isn't easy. Go to getroman.com/Howie to get a free online visit and free 2-day shipping.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
Is Kennedy Babylon 2 your last book?
No, if I think of another topic for a book I want to write, I'll go for it. But I think it's the last of my Kennedy Babylon series. I made Kennedy Babylon 2 kind of long because I wanted to get everything in there. Now there's other stuff I could write about, but I'm Kennedy now.
Since having the sleeve operation, do you miss not eating big meals?
No, I don't. I can still eat what I used to eat. I just can't eat as much. I'm now very surprised how much I used to eat. I'm surprised at how much people I eat with consume. It's just hard to believe that I used to eat that much, but no, it's not a problem.
How is Mr. Gooner since Pearl's passing?
Mr. Gooner is drowning his sorrows in food.
What is the most trouble you ever got into as a kid?
My father was giving me grief one time up at Moosehead Lake in Maine, and I threw a rock at him. He didn't much like that. I'm here with Dr. Bruce Houghton from Perfect Smiles in Nashua, New Hampshire. You get a lot of patients, I'm sure, who are apprehensive about veneers. What are some of the questions and fears you get when you're dealing with new patients?
Some people think they could look too fake, but true cosmetic dentistry is incredibly detail-oriented. So we put a lot of time and effort into individualizing how the smile looks, and we really make them look natural, but very, very pleasant.
You know, people are concerned. They wonder, I got my teeth. Do I really want to put caps on?
Exactly. Yeah, they think they'll have that Hollywood look or fake look, but the technology that we have available and the artistry that we can create now really makes things so natural that most people, in fact, most dentists are just surprised that we can create what we can create nowadays. Everyone is different. Everyone has different facial dimensions, different bone structure, and we do everything we can to individualize treatment because there is no one perfect smile. It is your perfect smile.
Dr. Houghton, where can people find you?
So you can find us at perfectsmiles.com or call 844-A-PERFECT-SMILE, 844-A-PERFECT-SMILE.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
If Mr. Gooner was a person, what college would she attend?
The U.S. Coast Guard Academy.
Is Mr. Gooner a conservative or a Democrat?
Mr. Gooner is a fiscal conservative and a social liberal.
If you could have dinner with any president, dead or alive, who would it be?
Calvin Coolidge. He was from Massachusetts.
Pulled the cut of her saying the coronavirus has been
public
testified.
Sector unions, and he said the business of America is
that?
business. He's my guy.
Other than yourself.
Who's that, Howie?
That was just AOC. The coronavirus has
All right,
been
I'll
testified.
see if we can get it. I don't know if we can get it for tonight.
All right.
Because it's live, so I don't know if we'll be able to go
Is it
back.
still going on? Is this silliness still going on?
I don't know. They went to break. I don't know if they're
Oh,
continuing
okay.
with
I
it.
think she's probably done then.
It's been said over and over again that you cannot trust this president. Not only is he a liar, he does not believe in anything scientific. So the president of the United States cannot be relied upon. Someone said he needs to be quiet. He needs to shut his mouth. And he should do that and allow CDC and NIH and others to deal with this issue and to help us through it.
That was Maxine Waters. So people have been wondering, where was Maxine Waters? There she is. Aren't you sorry you asked the question now? You didn't really want to know never ask a question you don't want to know the answer to. All right. Talking about erectile dysfunction isn't easy, but with Roman now it can be. With Roman, you can get a free online evaluation and ongoing care for erectile dysfunction, all from the comfort and privacy of your own home. Go to getroman.com/Howie to get a free online visit and free 2-day shipping. Taylor, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Which will you miss more? Professional hockey, professional basketball, professional baseball, or the collegiate conference tournaments for basketball, or
and
none
March
of the above?
and now March Madness. Since the show started, they've canceled March Madness too.
Isn't that what that is?
No, the tournaments precede March Madness.
Taylor's obviously not going to miss it.
What comes after the tournaments? You have the tournaments and it's over, right? No,
conference tournaments. Like this weekend is the Atlantic Coast Conference. Coast Conference tournaments in Greensboro, and then on Sunday they would pick the field of 64, which has now was expanded to 68. All this is in the past tense now because there's not going to be any of this stuff.
Let's just get all the teams on one big soccer field and have them play basketball there in one big game.
Okay, well, what are the results?
62% say they don't care.
How dare they not care?
18% are going to miss hockey.
Okay. How many are going to miss March Madness?
10%.
10%. That's it. Okay, we're gonna switch now to the jock sniffing sports stations to see what they're talking about. Let's switch over there. I love Tom Brady so much. I want to have his baby. I love Tom Brady more than you do, man. I want to have Tom Brady's twins. Okay, let's go back to it now, to regular radio. That's what they're reduced to, Grace.
Well, they're probably making fun of us for talking about the coronavirus.
You shouldn't be reveling in this so much, Howard.
But now they're forced to talk about it because it's canceled what they were originally going to talk about.
Howie's just mad because back in the day when he was working next to all the jock sniffers, as he calls them, they would be like seagulls with all of his free food. That's where this stems from. It all comes back to food.
No, I'm with Howie. I can't stand jock sniffer radio either.
781. This is an interesting question. Chris Murphy, one of the most obnoxious senators out there, right up there with his fellow senator from Connecticut, Blumenthal, Danang Dick Blumenthal, says, has Chris Murphy quarantined himself yet since he was meeting with the Iranians, many of whom could be dead from the virus? That is an excellent point. Chris Murphy is more likely to be infected than Ted Cruz and Paul Gosar. They were just at some CPAC conference with thousands of people in D.C. Chris Murphy was actually meeting in a hotel room with these Iranians to discuss how they were going to get around these terrible sanctions that the Americans have imposed. And now Chris Murphy's friends, they killed 2 Americans and a Brit last night in an attack, an Iranian-backed Iraqi Shiite militia force. That's a very good question. 844-500-4242. We'll take a couple of calls. I've got to finish this other review of Hillary. I'm sure people are tuning off, are going to, as soon as our show is over and they've listened to Chop Chumps when it goes up, they're probably going to be switching over by the thousands to see Hillary on Hulu.
Is that Brian Williams math there, Howie?
If you start it at 7:00, it will be almost over by midnight. Actually, if you watch it straight through with no interruptions, 253 minutes.
Speaking of that, Howie, I was calling Delta to get a flight changed, and they said to me, you know how the voice comes on and says, we currently have an influx of a lot of calls. The wait time is 6 hours. And so I counted it out on my hands, and I said, I'm going to be asleep by that time. I don't want Delta calling me at midnight.
That gives you almost enough time to watch Hillary.
I'll be watching Hillary and looking at my phone.
Jerry, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Jerry. We're out of time. We'll take plenty of calls when we come back and finish the review of Hillary. 844-500-4242. I'm Howie Carr.
There's an old saying in politics, if you can't dazzle them with brilliance, baffle them with bull. Well, we here at Matthews Brothers never really agreed with that practice. No, sir. We've always held to the belief that people are generally smart enough to tell the difference between chicken gumbo and chicken guano. So when it comes to important stuff like structural and thermal performance of our windows and doors, we just stick to the facts. Sadly, even the remodeling industry has its share of those who hide behind hyperbole, provide mis- and disinformation, or lurch from one confusing sale of the month to another. So often, you have to wonder if they even have a regular selling price. But thanks to good old Al Gore and his invention of the internet, it's now possible for the average consumer, from the comfort of their own living room, to search for windows and doors that are structurally superior, or thermally superior, or aesthetically superior, or backed by the industry's best warranty. Or they can see them all in person, but only at Better Lumberyards and Window Professionals, or on the web at MatthewsBrothers.com. Matthews Brothers with one T, America's oldest window manufacturer.
He might not be flashy, but he's there when it counts. Here's 1 minute of Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell.
For the first time in my memory, I agree with Nancy Pelosi. I am indeed the Grim Reaper when it comes to the socialist agenda that they've been ginning up over in the House.
You watch the fight, you watch the tactics, but here's what I want to tell you. In the very near future, Judge Kavanaugh will be on the United States Supreme Court. Noted with great interest the Green New Deal, and we're going to be voting on that in the Senate. We'll give everybody an opportunity to go on record and see how they feel about the Green New Deal. Well, first on the impartiality issue, do you think Chuck Schumer is impartial? Do you think Elizabeth Warren is impartial?
No.
Bernie Sanders is impartial? So let's quit the charade. This is a political exercise. Nobody is supposed to be guilty until proven innocent in the United States of America. Look, we're at an impasse. We can't do anything until the speaker sends the papers over, so everybody enjoy the holidays.
The Subaru of New England, Washington's birthday sales event lasts all month. Feel the freedom in the all-new all-wheel drive 2020 Subaru Outback with standard LED headlights, starting at only $26,645 with 0.9% financing for up to 48 months, or lease for only $249 per month for 36 months, $2449 due at signing. Details at SubaruofNewEngland.com.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
Out of all of your books, which is your favorite title and why?
I think my favorite title is Hitman because it's very effective. I thought long and hard about it. We're going to make it Boston Hitman, but then why make it Boston Hitman? Just make it Hitman. Make it a universal subject.
If you could have dinner with one author, dead or alive, who would it be?
I would probably have dinner with William Shakespeare. I know that's a cliche response, but he was the greatest writer in the English language, no question about it.
If you won Mega Millions, would you retire completely?
I used to say no, I would not retire, but yeah, I think I would retire now.
If you had to leave all of your money to one charity, which would it be?
The Salvation Army. I like what the Salvation Army does. I don't think they have too many highly paid executives trying to be social justice warriors.
Are we starting to feel bad for Joe Biden? Sorta. Are we going to play his gaffes anyway? Of course.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate.
Now we need to stand behind Jamie Harrison, the next president, next senator.
I'm looking forward to appointing the first African-American woman to the United States Senate. Just like here in California, here in Nevada. Back in the spring, late fall, late spring, late winter, early fall, anyway, you know what I mean.
Look, tomorrow's Superstar Tuesday.
I tell you what, I'm rushing ahead, aren't I? We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing. It says you cannot have 20, 30, 40, 50 clips in a weapon.
We'll see who's sleepy.
Mr. Vice President, thank you.
All right, Chuck. Thank you very much.
All right. It's Chris.
Sometimes I wake up and I think it's 1920, not 2020.
Did you miss Howie's opening monologue today? Didn't catch that interview you were looking forward to? Well, tell me you didn't miss the chump line. Even if you did, not to worry. Howie's got your back. Subscribe to the Howie Carr Show podcast today, and you'll get New England's talk radio king on demand. That means you listen to Howie when it's convenient for you. Subscribe to the Howie Carr Show on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And don't forget to rate and review. The captain thanks you.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
Grace was all excited.
The coronavirus has been testified from the CDC director.
It's been testified. James and Bobby Purified. I just want to testify. I'm the coronavirus, and I want to testify. It's an old song from the 60s. Grace.
Yes.
We have a question here from 617 on the text line. What was the cheap bastard deal today?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked, 617. The cheap bastard deal is really special. It is a $120 value. It's selling for $60. It is a gift certificate for IPL and Skin Wellness located in Timeless Salon and Spa in Dover, New Hampshire. And there are 2 treatments you can get. You can get the Skin Classics treatment, which takes care of things like broken capillaries, skin tags, sunspots, or you can get IPL permanent hair removal treatments, which a lot of people would think of as laser hair removal. So you don't have to use razors anymore. If you're a guy and you get hair on your back, if you're a girl and you want to get your legs lasered, whatever you want. And it's an awesome price. Half off is great for either of those 2 treatments. So go to howiecarrshow.com, click on store. We don't have a ton left, but I think we'll have enough left until the end of the show. So go right now.
And if you're a guy, you can get one for your significant other female. And if she says, "What, you think I need this?" You just say, you've mentioned it, honey.
Yeah.
You've talked about it.
And if you're a girl,
you look great, but this would make you look even better.
and if you're a lady out there, let me tell you something. Treat yourself because it's worth it. You're not going to regret this. It's permanent. And if you have a lot of redness on your face, or even if you have little sunspots or skin tags under your eyes, if you look at the before and afters, it is truly incredible. So go to howiecarrshow.com, click on store, get the cheap bastard deal, $120 value for only $60. You can't beat this.
And, just assuming that you do survive this panic, you'll look so much better when it's bathing suit time in the summer.
Well, I think a lot of people now are canceling plans or vacations and things like that. So it's actually a really good time to get away and do something for yourself that's going to make you feel good. And that's exactly what this is. Dawn Skin Wellness is the best. She's a esthetician. She'll take care of you. She'll work with you. So check it out.
Hillary on Hulu or the cheap bastard deal? Which is it going to be?
CBD all day long.
.com, click on store. Grace is also very happy. She just got a nice text message. Somebody said she looks very preppy with her sweater tied over her shoulders.
We always match though, Howie. That's the thing.
We do match today. That's for sure.
We look like we're going to go on the Lawrence Welk show.
Like my aunt
do
and
the
uncle
Charleston.
used to do.
When your aunt and uncle went on that show, did they perform or did they go to watch it?
They went to watch it, but then they let you dance. They
let anyone dance?
I guess they did. Yeah.
Yeah, they would have like a slow dance for all the people in the audience come up and dance to the band.
All the people like my aunt and uncle who were over 70.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
They loved it. They went there
Did your
every
aunt
year.
and uncle have the same kind of moves? Is it hereditary? Did they have your dance moves?
I definitely inherited them. I inherited
Wow.
the car dance genes.
Did they ever make it on TV?
They did. They like I said, my cousin texted us when we were talking about it the other day. He said he'd seen Uncle Dan and Aunt Kay on the Lawrence Welk reruns on
That's
PBS.
so cool.
844-500-4242. 603 says, can you let me know if St. Alfonso's pancake breakfast has been postponed? Everything else has been postponed. It's like a blizzard. It's like only thing is there's no snow. It's just about scaring people and stopping Trump from getting reelected. That's what this basically amounts to.
John Kasich will be really sad if the pancake breakfast is canceled.
We haven't even got to the John Kasich stuff. There's so much stuff here. Let's take some calls, though. Jerry, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Jerry.
Not screened yet. Willie or Alonzo?
Okay, Willie, go ahead. Willie, go ahead.
Hey, Howie.
Hi.
Howie, can you hear me?
Yes, I
Howie?
can.
Hey, I wanted to ask you a question. Hey, do you think when Nadler goes to sleep that he dreams of Joey Chestnut? That's one thing I wanted to ask you. And the Maxine Waters, I heard, is going to... I heard this through Brian Williams in Mike Barnacle. I'm not sure if it's true, but I heard that Maxine Waters is going to do an online class with Al Sharpton on ebonics.
Stop it. Alonzo, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Alonzo.
How do I follow that one? Howie, Grace, and Taylor. I don't know if you guys recall that one Seinfeld episode when Kramer heard the voice of Mary Hart, he just kind of convulsed and just went into hysterical.
Yeah, he'd have a seizure every time he heard it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what happens to me when I hear AOC's voice. And
Oh.
right now, I am so absolutely. I'm trying to come down, so hopefully I can. But every time I hear her voice, I convulse and I go into seizures. I don't know what it is, but she is.
The coronavirus has been testified from the CDC director.
Did the coronavirus, after it testified, did it patron some restaurant? Her syntax and grammar are failing her even more so than before. Is she slipping? Has she jumped the shark? Why is she on Fox? And did Brett Baer, more importantly, did Brett Baer ask her, how is Deco, the French bulldog puppy that she just bought? How is he holding up under this terrible pandemic that we all face?
A beautiful dog, a talented dog.
Yeah.
Really, really good reference, though, Alfonso. That's a great episode.
Thanks for the call. 844-500-4242. Are any of these other callers screened here? Any of them screened? We don't
Jerry
know.
or David?
David, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, David.
Hey, Howie. Thanks for taking my call. Just curious about Encore and, whether or not they're going to close Encore, handling the chips and the one-eyed bandits and, the cars.
That's a good point. All these, people are saying that the business in Vegas is probably going to be way down because people come. Are they going to be closed up? And all the sporting events are being canceled. The NFL draft is coming up. You know where it's going to be this year, David? It's in Vegas because the Raiders are moving from Oakland to Las Vegas. So they said this was going to be the biggest NFL draft of all time, because it's a big gambling mecca. And I just thought of something else, David. New Hampshire just started sports betting. What is this going to do? This is going to blow a hole in the state's budget, isn't it? Fortunately, Massachusetts is raising the gas tax and is about to outlaw in a couple of months menthol cigarettes. So they'll make up some of it anyway, thanks to the stupidity of the kleptocrats on Beacon Hill. But this is going to be a big mess for all the states that have sports gambling, isn't it?
Yeah, all they're doing in Vegas is closing buffets.
Really? So they're going to keep the betting the casinos open, but the buffets are a big attraction. That's how you get people in, right?
Yeah, and the last question is: do you think lime scented surgical masks would sell for the coronavirus?
You're not taking this seriously enough. Didn't you hear Bernie Sanders say more people are going to die in this than died in World War II? 700,000 people a year almost die. Americans die from heart disease. It's close to 600,000 for cancer. Coronavirus, the toll, when we went on the show today, I don't know if it's gone up over 40, but it was 38 people.
But Howie, what's the crazy part is, let's say Trump had taken more extreme measures than he did, and he took pretty extreme measures by halting all flights from China. But let's just say, in a crazy world, he did everything. He shut down everything. He quarantined everybody. They would be saying, they'd be mad about that too.
No, they would. They'd
be
saying
never spread. They'd say
he's acting like an autocrat.
He's acting like an autocrat. It's too extreme. This is, killing the economy. They would blame him for that. So he couldn't have won in any situation, no matter what he did.
And if he had been gone out there and said this is a terrible problem, it's going to kill more people in World War II, as Bernie said, that say he's instilling panic.
He's fear-mongering.
He's crashing the stock market. He's destroying the hospitality industry. People are going to lose their jobs in Vegas and at all the resorts and restaurants, et cetera, et cetera. Whatever he did, they were going to criticize him. Mm-hmm. That's a good point, though, David. How long are they going to keep these casinos open? 844-500-4242. Jerry, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Jerry.
Howie, thanks for taking the call. In a couple of weeks, I think their misery is going to be our pleasure when this is all over. AOC, did you see the video of her talking about coronavirus in the last week or so? She won a science fair project.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. She said that to Ted Cruz. She said, you're giving me grief, and I won this. I won an award from MIT. It was a high school science fair. Yeah. What did she build, an anthill or something?
You remember Jerry Zeifman, the Watergate prosecutor referring to Hillary? Do you remember what he said about her?
What did he say?
He said she was basically a horrible human being who should be put in jail, and he was a radical liberal. She was fired by the Watergate prosecution team for suborning perjury, fraud, and witness tampering.
That's not mentioned in the 253 minutes of the Hillary documentary now available on Hulu. She didn't. They didn't get around it. I think she also flunked the bar exam the first time she took it. You know, granted, Deval Patrick flunked it twice. Crash Murray flunked it twice before they passed it. But still, she was the smartest lawyer in America. That's what we were told when she first burst onto the scene back in 1992. Thanks for the call. 844-500-4242. Hillary is the latest iteration of the strange, gratuitous campaign to revamp the legacy of the first female candidate to lose to Donald Trump. This is from Free Beacon. This is a different one. Here's what she says. I am the most investigated innocent person in America, she declares, because of sexism. What remains is a familiar version of Hillary's story, one in which the quote-unquote scarred protagonist is forced to overcome, in her own words, a gauntlet of unbelievable obstacles. Gauntlet of unbelievable obstacles. She's crippled by a responsibility gene, unquote. I have a dancing gene. She has a responsibility gene that makes her a really good public official, but less than an ideal politician. You know why she's less than ideal? Because she's always trying to explain things that people don't want to hear.
Oh.
I got more stuff for you here. Have you had enough yet of the volatility of the stock markets? Down 1,000 or more points, 2,000 points today. Up the next. Are you tired of watching that little box at the bottom of your TV screen that shows the market plunging hundreds of points or thousands of points today? You need to get diversified with Orion Metal Exchange. You shouldn't be caught flat-footed in this roller coaster ride that the stock markets have been on the last couple of weeks. No matter what the reason, the coronavirus or the oil price war abroad between Russia and Saudi Arabia, you always need to be diversified. And that means owning some precious metals, gold and silver and platinum. Listen up. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company that I trust. If you haven't yet taken advantage of their no-obligation guide, it's still not too late. Give them a call today to learn more about gold and silver and other precious metals. Call Orion today at 1-800-912-2300. That's 1-800-912-2300. Call them right now at 1-800-912-2300. I'm Howie Carr.
The paper boy with a big microphone. Howie Carr.
This hour of the Howie Carr Show is brought to you in part by J.T. Kelly, real estate broker of Keller Williams, serving Greater Boston. Do what my daughter Carolyn did and give J.T. Kelly a call at 1-800-364-9200. 1-800-364-9200.
Here's Donald Trump Jr. proving once and for all the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
They hate Trump more than they love America. For them to try to take a pandemic and seemingly hope that it comes here and kills millions of people so that they could end Donald Trump's streak of winning. I don't know if this is coronavirus or Trump derangement syndrome, but these people are infected badly. To make this guy into a religious scholar, that's like saying Jeffrey Dahmer is a purveyor of organic and fine exotic meats. Adam Schiff is basically the Jussie Smollett of Congress on steroids.
Children are off limits. Remember this one? If 13-year-old Barron Trump is not off limits, Hunter Biden sure as is not off limits.
Because my name is Trump, if I took $1.5 from China, not $1.5 billion like Hunter, their head would explode.
Who is your favorite Democrat? Go ahead.
Mitt Romney, Gail. Mitt Romney's my favorite Democrat. How about that? Please, Lord, in my next life, make me a leftist so I can say anything and get away with it.
Here's how it works with my retirement accounts, and I'll bet yours too. If your 401k, your SEP, your IRA, whatever is going up, you probably don't think very much about it, right? But if it's going down, well, there's nothing much else you can think of. So for the last couple of years, none of us have been worrying much about those quarterly statements. But lately, it's gotten a little worrisome. It's not that bad, not yet anyway, but what goes up must come down. Now is the time to start thinking about adjusting your investments. Gold and silver have always been a hedge against stock market volatility. Uncertainty about the future has traditionally met rising prices for precious metals. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company I trust. Give Orion a call to get a free, no-obligation investment guide about protecting your future with an enduring investment in gold and silver. You've got nothing to lose and everything, including peace of mind, by calling Orion Metal Exchange now. Call them today at 800-912-2300. And with Orion, you'll get more metal for your money. Call 800-912-2300. That's 800-912-2300.
And now, an interview with the Emperor of Hate, Howie Carr.
Who was your favorite actor?
Humphrey Bogart, no doubt about it. I love all the old Humphrey Bogart movies. Jimmy Cagney would be a close second.
Do you have a celebrity crush?
No celebrity crushes.
Ginger or Marianne?
I always was a Marianne person. Never was bowled over by that Hollywood look. Plus, Ginger was in more revealing attire, scantily clad.
Salty or sweet?
Neither, but if I have to pick, I'll go with sweet.
Movies or TV?
TV.
McDonald's or Burger King?
McDonald's, although I'd prefer Five Guys.
Facebook or Twitter?
Definitely Twitter. I hate Facebook.
Cake or pie?
I'm a cake guy.
Coke or Pepsi?
Diet Coke.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee, obviously.
Winter or summer?
Summer. Good Lord. Why would you want winter? It's cold and it's dark.
This is Alex from East Bridgewater, Mass.
This is Ann in Saco, Maine.
This is John Succo from Hampton, Mass. And this is the Howie Carr Show.
I don't know if he stuck to the script or not, but whatever script he read was wrong because they've had to clarify it several times. And I just got to say, if the president came out to calm people's fears, he didn't do a good job of it because they've had to come back and clarify it several times. And this has been going on long enough for them to get it straight. We need straight, accurate information from this president and this administration, and we're not getting it. And I don't understand why you are tiptoeing around it. He came out, gave an address that usually that happens very rarely, and he doesn't get it right.
I'm going to tell you, first of all, he read it, and somebody that wrote this, look, I don't want to get into that. It was on today.
That's why you're here to talk about the president's address.
Can I finish now?
No, no.
He's nuts.
Have another drink, Mr. Lamone. Do you think he had a lime Ricky or two before he came onto the air? Good Lord. He's out of control. He's got a virus. It's called Trump derangement syndrome.
Credulous boomer rube syndrome.
Incidentally, did you see the guy who was talking about us credulous boomer rubes, Rick Wilson? He tweeted out a fake tweet, retweeted a fake tweet from President Trump last week saying that any president who presides over the stock market going down more than 1,000 points in a day should be lined up against the wall or some such thing. That credulous boomer rube, Rick Wilson, retweeted that. It was totally fake.
Okay, so that's funny you should say that because today I saw a tweet from Chuck Schumer and it said, Trump shouldn't have shut down the flights from China. And so I specifically was like, this is too good to be true. So I went on Google and I Googled it and it was fake. And I just have to say, I hate when both sides do that. There's enough real stuff. Stop making fake tweets to make them go viral because it's confusing for people.
As long as you have AOC out there, you don't have to make anything up.
Right. And also, Rick Wilson, you can go on Google and PolitiFact check it. That's one thing they're good for.
Incidentally, speaking of the Everett Casino, a guest at Encore Boston Harbor has tested positive for coronavirus after playing in the high limit area on March 5th. Encore officials said in a statement tonight that the Mass Department of Public Health has informed the casino that the person, quote, was low risk and showing no signs of symptoms when at the resort. The company is being vigilant and has notified employees who had direct contact with this individual to take precautionary measures. The employers have been placed on paid leave, Encore said in a statement. So they're having some difficulties too. 844-500-4242. Officer Mark, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Officer Mark.
Hey, Howie, how's it going?
Good.
Hey, I got a few things for you. You know, that Don Lemon shouting match, boy, when he can't make a point, you notice his voice goes up an octave? You know, he just keeps going up and up and up and up.
I love how he says, you're here to comment, and he's talking over the guy. He doesn't let Kasich get in a word edgewise, and it wasn't even at a pancake breakfast or an all-you-can-eat Italian buffet. I mean, Kasich was prepared to say something.
That's right. And the other thing, too, that Hillary Hulu special, I mean, if they play that on a continuous loop at Gitmo, who needs waterboarding? I mean, these guys will spill their guts.
So somebody texted and said that somewhere in a CIA backwater, like in Morocco, where they used to take the terrorist prisoners, there's a guy that's just got a remote control, doesn't have a sap or a gun or anything. He's got somebody tied to a chair, and the interrogator is holding in his hand a TV remote control. I'd crack, wouldn't you?
Oh, that's it. I tell you anything. I tell you the nuclear codes. And the last thing I got for you, you know, one gathering that's not going to be canceled this year, I can guarantee, is the Laconia Bike Week. I mean, I've worked there on details, and that's a petri dish on wheels anyway, so nothing's going to stop that.
But that's in early June, isn't it? I mean, this should be long gone by then, I would think.
Oh, no, they're going to drag it out as long as they can. You know that.
To keep Biden off the campaign trail, if nothing else.
I'd like to see Biden on a Harley, like what's his face, like Kerry tried. You know, he's a Harley guy.
You got to see the video of him leaving the Chrysler Fiat plant in Detroit, where he's just like stumbling out. He has no idea where he is, and he has no idea what he's saying. It doesn't work on the radio, or we would have played it. But if you see the video, it's worse than his confrontation with the hard hat. All right. We didn't finish the Hillary stuff. We'll get to it tomorrow. I'm Howie Carr.